YouTube Premium is ad-free YouTube and the YouTube Music app all together. One subscription, 2 apps.
It is 5:41 p.m. and I am calling this City Council meeting to order. In accordance with City Charter Section 3-201 for the purpose of electing a council president. First, I will take the roll call. Mr. Al-Alamin is not in. Dr. Lewis?
Present.
Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Present. Point of order. Didn't we already call this meeting to order?
We did, but you didn't have a quorum, so
Okay,
technically-
please make note of that, okay?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Ms. Burns?
Present.
Ms. Mashat?
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Present.
Mr. Jarrett?
Present.
You have 7 members present.
Madam Clerk,
Ms. Priestley?
I'd like to make a motion to move the public hearing in front of the reorganizational council.
Ms. Priestley has made a motion to move the public hearing to the first item on the agenda. Is there a second to her motion?
Support.
Where's the Pledge of Allegiance and the prayer?
Roll call on that motion. Mr. Al-Alamin is not in. Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
No.
Ms. Burns?
No.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
No.
Mr. Jarrett?
No.
The vote is 3 yes, 4 no. That motion fails. That takes us back to the organization of City Council, City Council President. The City Council shall elect from its members a presiding officer who shall be known as the President of the City Council.
Clerk,
Mr. Pfeiffer?
make a motion to move organization to the end of council, until the end of the agenda.
Support.
Mr. Pfeiffer, supported by Ms. Priestley, has made a motion to move the organization of City Council to the end of the agenda, which would be right before final council comments. Roll call on that motion. Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Al-Alamin is not in. The vote is 7 yes, 0 no.
So now it's time for the Pledge of Allegiance, and we're going to ask for Councilwoman Priestley if she will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so next we have the prayer of the blessing. But before we proceed with the prayer of the blessing, do we have any council member that would like to remember someone at this time?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
the Carradine family lost a loved one recently.
Okay. Anyone else?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Mr. Jarrett.
would ask that the council and the community continue to remember the Clack family.
Okay, anyone else? All right, seeing that there no one else, I will go ahead and ask for a remembrance for Mr. Samuel Williams, adult teen in the community. Mr. Samuel Williams, thank you. So now we're on to the prayer of the blessing. So Councilman Burns, could you please lead us in the prayer of the blessing?
With YouTube Music Premium, listen to your favorite songs ad-free. Download music and podcasts to listen offline or on the go. Enjoy thousands of
The time is now 4:32 p.m. on Monday, June 9th. I call the Special Affairs Committee meeting to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
On a roll today. Okay, Mr. Alamin is not in. Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Priestley is not in. Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat?
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett is not in. You have one member present.
We have one member present.
Look on the ground, Turkey, when the pale face walk by you. Tick-tock that, America. Here come snake bite Burns coming in from Philadelphia. The stalemate. Oh, you want to push me, huh? Whoa, baby. Whoa! Oh! Hey, that's my temperature. Oh! Talk about could a man take fire in his bosom? I don't know. Oh my God, the second generation here. What? This way. Oh yeah. People be saying, I mean, I don't know what they. Hey, come here, there's something about this. Hey, wait a minute. Shh. Make my own movies. Hey, watch, I'll make my own movies for that.
Hey, how y'all doing, twin? Huh?
Madam Clerk, the attorney is now present, and we have 5 members in the chamber. Yep. So it is now time for the reading of the disorderly person city code subsection. Any person that persists in disrupting this meeting will be in violation of Flint City Code Section 31-10, disorderly conduct, assault, and battering disorderly persons, and will be subject to arrest for a misdemeanor. Any person who prevents the peaceful and orderly conduct of any meeting will be given 1 warning. If they persist in disrupting the meeting, that individual will be subject to arrest. Violators will be removed from the meetings. Are there any requests for agenda changes and/or additions? All right, seeing as how there are no requests for agenda changes and/or additions, it's now time for public comment. Members of the
Point
public.
order.
Yes.
Did you forget to do roll call?
No, the meeting started at 4:32. Welcome.
So you did roll call?
Yes, yes. Members of the public who wish to address the city council or its committees must register before the meeting begins. A box will be placed at the entrance to the council chambers for collection of registrations. No additional speakers or slips will be accepted after the meeting begins. Members of the public shall have no more than 3 minutes per speaker during public comment, with only 1 speaking opportunity per speaker. First public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The first speaker is R.L. Mitchell.
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman Burns.
we did not do roll call.
We did, yes, ma'am. We're
No, we
on to
did
public
not.
speaking. Yes, ma'am, we did.
not. We did not.
All right, so we did.
You did not
Move
do roll
forward.
call. Point of order. Councilman Jarrett, do you want
Davina,
Mr.
stop the
Pfeiffer?
clock.
Point of
Yeah,
order.
you doing too much.
Point
We
of
didn't do
order.
roll
Yes,
call.
Councilwoman Winfrey Carter, what is your point?
Madam Chair, through you to the clerk.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Clerk Davina Donahue, did you do roll call?
We did take roll call when the chair called the meeting to order at 4:32.
Pardon me?
Yes, we did do a roll call when she called the meeting to order at 4:32.
But you did not have a quorum. How can you do a roll call and you did not have a quorum and then you start a meeting? How?
So that is an improper point of order. You asked a question, she answered it. The
It's not
meeting
an
was called to
improper point
order
of
at
order. This
4:32.
meeting is wrong.
The meeting was called to order at 4:32 p.m.
Point of order.
Yes, Mr. Pfeiffer, what's your point?
Just for clarification.
Mm-hmm.
Through you to the city attorney.
Yes.
Does roll call have to be done to establish quorum?
Your question is whether roll call has to establish a quorum? Is that what you
Yes.
asked?
Does the results of roll call have to be done and determined to establish quorum, initial quorum?
No.
No?
The
Okay.
meeting can start at the designated time, and you can open that meeting at that time. Now, once you establish quorum, that's when your business can start. But you cannot take any official actions until you have a quorum.
Okay.
Thank you. First public speaker, Madam Clerk.
That's R.L. Mitchell.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Council. My name is R.L. Mitchell. I live at 759 East Linden Avenue, over there by the Graceland Cemetery, the last house on the block. Well, enough of that, et cetera, taking up all my time. I'm here to speak on the financial situation we got in Flint, the budget. To you, Madam President, through Miss Priestley, as you see, the woman with the money bag is not here. Miss Priestley, you stated last week that they can't afford to pay you the work in Flint, but you still got the job anyway. And last week, our administrator, Ed, he called himself training the other generation to come and take his place because it's been told that 2,000 people was running City Hall. Now it's down to 500, and he doing it all on himself, on the mayor, on his term, not on the mayor term. And while we was in the meeting, he tried to train the young lady to take up his situation. And now the young lady, I should call her name, but people be getting on me like attorney did, Joanne. She said, she checked me a few minutes ago. Oh, this is the first time you called me by my name. The eyes got big. They told me your last name too. But these people, just like they be asking people what's on their check, and you're not supposed to tell them. But this second generation coming up, they ain't going for that. You saw Mr. Teller was talking to her last week with his big butt. They had the cameraman hand all in the way. I ain't know that. But now she training right now as I speak. The other generation, she probably about 16 years old or 15, got gold all in her teeth, silver. And I said, this girl gonna take your job for you, and you must get up and the girl gave me some dap. And the girl right back there, now, I mean, but I ain't gonna say, but in the Bible, I mean, Davina, go get May's daddy Bible out of his office. Davina? Yep. Never mind. Like I say, this pulpit fell down while y'all was it, and she said it was May's ghost. But I'm saying this in the Bible, it says, whoever offend these little ones might as well put a millstone around your neck and cast in the deepest part of the sea. These, and what she said, talking about you can't afford her salary, but she working there anyway. But these kids, they got to train them. You remember, you offend one of them, you gonna get cast in the deepest part of the sea like Bin Laden did. Stay tuned, America.
Thank you.
Tick-tock-tack.
Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Vivian Williams.
Good evening. I'm representing 100K Ideas. We are going to council and asking for permission to get a raffle license from the Gaming Commission. That was all. That was the only thing that I came here for. Thank you.
Thank you. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk, would you let the previous public speaker know that their resolution item is on the agenda, and if they could please stay.
The next speaker is Rich Jones.
How y'all doing today? I want to talk about warnings. I feel that all 8 of y'all should be able to give a member of our audience a warning. And if it ain't that way, that's one of them goofy rules that y'all need to recreate and have it that way. Because some things that happened in this room, all 8 of y'all should have told that person to get up and get out of here. Now, I recall receiving I guess it was a warning. I assumed it as a warning. Maybe it wasn't a warning from a councilwoman member that was not chairing a meeting and is not the president or the vice president of the council. Now, if that was a call to order in that situation, I feel that if only thing the chair can do is acknowledge what the other council person said, or not acknowledge it, I don't feel it should be that way. I feel it should be, if that council person say, I call you to order, you should either back her up and then somebody say, I appeal the ruling of the chair, and then y'all go through whatever y'all go through. But it makes no sense for y'all to let it get to where we got this rope across here. It makes no sense. So, stop abusing your power. Think about the people. Once again, y'all on the wrong P. Personal. It ain't personal, it's people. Common sense. Now, y'all can keep doing stuff till your day mess around and push this damn rope all the way to the door. Or y'all can start making this room behave and behave yourselves. And you can move this again. And you can put all them damn chairs back. Thank you.
He didn't even say nothing. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Audrey Muhammad.
Audrey Muhammad, 2nd Ward. First of all, brought to our attention today, you all don't have capacity signs in here. Is the city hall in violation, once again, of fire codes? It's supposed to be a capacity sign in here. We noticed that once you remove these chairs, you know, there's more people can come up in here, so y'all need to do something about that. Y'all always breaking them rules, but y'all don't want to be held to the rules. So my next thing I would like to do is I'd like to take a few seconds, probably a couple minutes, to thank Miss Liddell Lewis and Candace Mushat for showing up at the Gloria Close Flint Public Library Board meeting. You all was able to do something that I couldn't do as a board member. I've been telling them that Liddell Lewis cussed out Pastor Kevin Thompson in the parking lot, that it was witnessed by security guards, that it was witnessed by staff, and that it was witnessed by parents who said they was afraid to bring their children down there because you're scared them. You came into that library board meeting, when you left, somebody said, you know what, that did happen. We got the complaint, and they're looking and they're going to investigate at your request. So I thank you for doing that. You did not scare me away. You did not intimidate me. Yep, I called Candace a cunt, and I admitted it down there that I called her one. Yes, I admitted everything that I said. The things that I did not say was I did not say that the media was there. I did not say that. And there was a few other lies that you told, because you like to embellish the truth, Liddell. So I just want to make sure that it's clear that I'm not the only one who witnessed that somebody came to me and told me that you cussed out Pastor Kevin Thompson in the library after you cussed him out on a hot mic, and that was witnessed too. So just know, I thank you once again for coming down and sparking that investigation, because we needed that. They wouldn't even listen to me, but they listened to you, and they did it. I thank you for that. Even the executive director didn't know. She didn't look in the boards. I guess she didn't look in there and see it, but now she knows that I'm not the only one saying it, and it was other staff members that was present that said, you know what, we remember that being reported. So thank you for coming down there and doing that. You all should be ashamed. We got all of these safety issues going on in the community. I'm just going to tell you, I rode down McClellan. Cars are coming out the side streets because the weeds are growed up to my hip and they can't see around them. It's going to cause a serious accident. But it's not only in the 2nd Ward, it's in other wards. We need the city to come out and take care of their lots, or the county, whoever owns those lots. They need to be cut, because it's going to be a serious collision, or somebody going to get hit, somebody walking down the street, something's going to happen. So if you want to talk about safety and doing something really for the community, go out and do that.
Thank you. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Tanya Jones.
Good evening. My name is Tanya Jones. I'm an advocate for my son, which is DeMichael Edwards. I'm here because I want to address the last time I was here, I was very angry and upset. Number one, long as the cameras was here, nobody was getting warnings or anything. As soon as the cameras left, people started getting warnings from Candace and want to put everybody out, but long as the cameras was here, the news was here, didn't nobody get any warnings. And also I would like to address Ladale Lewis, not Dr. Ladale Lewis, Ladale. You went live, you went on your camera and said the lady in the moo-moo comes here to harass Candace. First of all, if that's what all you took out of me coming to this meeting, I got better things to be doing. But the number one, my son, is my number one concern. But you took from me coming down here, I harass Candace. I don't harass nobody. Obviously, that goes to show you how much you listen. And you did not stop me from coming, because I'm going to keep on coming and watching everything y'all do and addressing it. But the fact that is you're supposed to be vice president, whatever you call it, I don't even know your position. But I know you don't listen to nobody. You went live and said, the lady in the moo-moo. But let me show you how versatile I am. I'm not in the moo-moo today. And let me tell you, I'm going to keep coming back and coming back. And you don't listen. But guess what? You temporary. But I'm a mother forever. And y'all keep on coming. But it ain't going to take Black Lives Matter. Because my father is chairperson of a Black Lives Matter. That's why I said forget Black Lives Matter. The same way he go out here and fight for when something bad happened to black people. No, it's everybody. All lives matter. It don't take Black Lives Matter. Y'all move money around to Leon. I'm concerned about the opium money. Like I said, my son is addicted to meth. You don't care, but the opiate crisis is important. Just like the money you want moved around for your pastor. Oh, you want to fight for your pastor money. I'm fighting for this opium money, okay? I'm concerned about my son and everybody else. So guess what? God is good through it all. You have a nice night.
Thank you. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The final speaker for this meeting is A. Pollard.
This is Miss Pollard. I came here to be calm a little bit today. The situation I have with all y'all, except for the four that doesn't do nothing for nobody, Jerry Winfrey, Tanya Burns, Dennis Pfeiffer, and Jared. They try so hard to make things right for the people in the city of Flint. But you have four evil ones that always go against them. But I notice when you guys have something up, Ladale, Judy, and Mushrat, that's what I'm gonna call her, y'all want them to pass y'all stuff, and then if they don't agree with you guys, y'all get mad, y'all get up and walk away. Y'all don't say that, but we supposed to be here for everybody in Genesee County, not just Flint, because everybody ward is different in this area. My thing is, don't pass that budget at all. Everybody should take a cut everybody budget in half and fix that budget where the Flint people won't suffer. We already suffering. I'm gonna keep driving from where I live at to support my family, because this is my stomping ground, where I was born and raised at, in Flint Town and Bucktown for life. At the end of the day, you guys are so ignorant. When Ladale, I have to say this about you. You talk about us don't have no respect. You had your camera all in and talking about rest they ass. See, this what they want, this what they want. But then when y'all cuss and say stuff, y'all get away with it, and then y'all keep adding rules that don't be in the charter or the y'all council rules. Y'all just put rules in there like we just dogs. We are human beings. We are God's children. So remember that. If you want people to respect y'all, and these are children that's out here in the street, give respect first. Because y'all just evil, and whatever y'all going through it in y'all life, don't bring it to the meeting. And right now, you and Candace probably on Facebook, Twitter, and all that. Y'all be posting. Because kids, my grandkids see what y'all be saying. And y'all rude as hell. Y'all be, and Candy, you always tell people to, let's act our age, let's be grown up in here, let's get business taken care of. But you part of the problem too. Because you be having your phone, you, Ladale, and Ward 1. Y'all had y'all phone all up doing everything like everybody else do. So don't say the stuff about the pot and the paddle, because you're doing the same thing. But my thing is, the 4 that I'm talking to, the one that's trying to help Flint and everybody else in Flint, or the podcasts and whatever everybody in this Flint doing, keep doing it. But don't pass that budget at all. Slice everybody's stuff in half. And Mayor, he shouldn't be getting all that kind of money. For real, because Don Williams only got $1 for his paycheck. Let's talk about it. You know, when all the world was here, we made money besides just General Motors.
Thank you. You said that was the final public speaker, Madam Clerk. All right, it is now time for council response. Council members may respond once to all public speakers only after all public speakers have spoken. An individual council member's response shall be limited to 2 minutes. First, is there anyone who wishes to speak during council response? All right, seeing as how Councilwoman in the 2nd Ward.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. So first, I would like to remind individuals that this is the Flint City Council meeting, and we're here to handle the business of the city of Flint. And so I would like to encourage those, including Ms. Jones, that do not live in the city of Flint, to take their issue to the county commissioners, because they have a broader jurisdiction. They deal with the county, and that covers Flint Township where you reside. So again, and also to the last lady that just left the lectern, it is our business to handle the business of the city of Flint. So I will encourage you to please get the schedule for the county commissioners meeting and take your issues with the county up with the entire board there. Next, I also would like to address Library Trustee Secretary Audrey Muhammad. I hear everything that you said, and I'm happy that an investigation is definitely underway, because it has been, defamation and slander has been going on too long from your person. And so I look forward to that. We should not laugh. We shouldn't laugh about coming to the lectern and being disorderly and calling people vulgar words. We should expect better from our city, from our representatives that represent whether it's our library or our council body. And so we continue to hear her yell out from the back. And this is the behavior that we call acceptable from our people that are appointed. But for the rest of you all, we cannot, I hear people say just don't pass the budget. That's not an option. But the option that we do have is to work together to come up with a budget that's good for the city. So I hope that my colleagues are ready to do that, and that we're ready to stand on issues tonight that are vital to the residents of the city of Flint. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, seeing as how there is no one else who wishes to speak during council response, I will go ahead and take my time. To the visitor that comes from Detroit every week, I do concur with what the councilwoman in the 2nd Ward stated about if you have any county concerns, please feel free to go to Genesee County. I would also encourage the visitor from Detroit to be sure that when she's saying that people had cameras up and are recording or doing things on Facebook, make sure you have the correct people. I have not ever, nor do I plan on ever participating in whatever happens on Facebook. Anyone who's told you that they've seen me participating on something in Facebook is simply false. It is not true, never has been true. So we can also, ma'am, please stop yelling out. That's your first warning. So as I was saying, again, this being the Flint City Council meeting, we certainly understand that there are some things that have happened and people are frustrated about some things that might be going on countywide. However, we can only address as far as something that we are in control of, Flint issues. If you would like to visit the county meetings and explain to them about your property in Mount Morris Township and how you feel a Genesee County judge is also not helping you, please make sure you go to the Genesee County Commission meetings, and that would help you maybe get some resolve a lot faster, and especially if you have property in Mount Morris Township that you are concerned with. Now, seeing as how that is the end of council response, I'll move on to the consent agenda. What is the pleasure of the body? There is a motion to approve by the councilman in the 8th Ward. Is there support? Support. Moved and properly supported by the councilwoman in the 2nd Ward. Are there separations? There's a complete separation from the councilman in the 8th Ward. Moving on to Resolution 250186-T, which is the adjournment of the Flint City Council and committees meetings, July 9th, 2025 and July 14th, 2025. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman in the 2nd Ward.
I move to approve that resolution.
There is a motion to approve the resolution. Is there support? I will support it. Is there discussion in the first round? Councilman in the 8th Ward.
Madam Chair, I don't know who can answer this, but what is the special meeting on the 23rd? Because this says we're going to remove our first committee meeting and our first council meeting, but then we're having a special council meeting on the 23rd? And what is that for?
Madam Clerk.
The purpose of the special meeting is procedural, just so that you are in line with the charter, which states that you shall have 2 council meetings every month. So we scheduled one last year for the same purpose, and it was just called to order so that you were in line with the charter.
So nothing will be on that agenda?
Unless someone moves something to it, but it is basically for the purpose to make sure that you're in line with the charter.
Okay. Okay, I yield.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the first round of discussion?
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman in the 6th Ward.
through you to the city clerk. Madam Clerk, does that mean council will be off for the whole month of July?
No, just your first 2 meetings of that month would be adjourned. So you would pick back up the second Wednesday meeting and have a special meeting on that same day. And then your regular council meeting. I don't have a calendar in front of me, but the last 2 meetings of the month would still happen.
Okay. I'm done.
All right, is there anybody else in the first round of discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 5th Ward, you have the floor.
Thank you. Just to clear it up, I was,
Can you turn your mic on?
it is.
Oh, okay.
The committee meeting is on July 9th, and the regular council meeting, which would be the second Monday in July, that's the 14th. That is the regular council meeting. So we'll come back on the 23rd for regular committee meetings, right?
Madam
Chair,
Clerk.
through you
Yeah,
to the
Madam Clerk.
clerk.
That's correct. And
Okay.
and also
So we
have-
basically, we're gonna miss one committee meeting and one regular council meeting.
Correct, and have a special meeting on the 23rd as well, on that Wednesday.
Okay. Before the committee.
Correct,
Okay.
where conceivably items could be added to the agenda, but basically it's going to be for the purpose of just being in compliance with the charter at this point.
So I'm assuming, and I want to just say this would be a good time for the clerk to catch up. Would you say?
Correct. We would definitely take advantage of the adjournments for the time because we could focus on elections and plus not having new meetings and
So
get some of the old stuff.
so you would say that you guys would need this time off?
Correct. We could definitely, the
Okay.
staff could use the time as well.
All right. Thank you.
Are you yielding? Okay. Anybody else in the first round of discussion? Anybody in the second round of discussion? Seeing as how there is nobody in the second round of discussion, this is the roll call vote to send resolution 250186-T to council. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Alamin is not in. Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley is not in. Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
No.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
The vote is 5 yes, 1 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 1 no. This has been sent to council. Moving on to resolution 250187-T, which is the charitable gaming license for 100K Ideas nonprofit organization. What is the pleasure of the body? What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman in the second ward.
I would like for that resolution to be moved to council.
There is a motion on the floor to move resolution 250187-T to council by the councilwoman in the second ward. Is there support? It's been supported by the councilman in the 8th ward. Is there discussion in the first round? I'm sorry, did you say something?
No, but I did just want to remind the council that Ms. Vivian Williams is here from the
Right,
organization.
yes, yep, councilman in the 8th ward supported it. Is there any discussion in the first round?
Madam Chair.
Councilman in the 8th ward, then councilwoman in the second. Okay, councilwoman in the second.
All right, so could the young lady who's here from about the gaming license, could she please approach the lectern through you, Madam Chair?
Mm-hmm. Ms. Williams, if you would please join us.
Hello.
Hi, so you're from 100K Ideas?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so tell us a little bit about what you got going on.
Yes, so on August 16th, we're going to have a vendor ultimate pop-up market event, which is going to take place during Back to the Bricks. So we're offering local business owners the opportunity to sell products that day and have exposure to the over 1,000 people of foot traffic. And so while we have their attention, we thought we would take advantage of maybe conducting a 50-50 raffle during that time.
Okay, great idea. I went to 100K, and you all do a lot for local businesses and entrepreneurs. So thank you for the work that you do in the city. All right, well, is there anything else that you think we need to know about your request? Anything else you think that we need to know, or 100K Ideas? Because I trust that many may not know virtual or even audience, or maybe even some in the dais, what you do. So tell us a little bit about 100K.
So 100K Ideas, I'll keep it really simple. We help people with ideas. So if they're not sure whether or not their idea could be a business, we're that safe space for you to be able to explore that. Again, in reference to the Ultimate Pop-Up event, we're able to offer up to 16 local business owners the opportunity to sell during that Back to the Bricks weekend.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and that's all I have.
Thank you.
All right.
Is there anyone else in the first round of discussion?
Madam Chair,
Councilman in the 9th ward, you have the floor.
thank you. Through you to Ms. Williams. I just want to make sure I'm clear. Is the only gaming you are looking to do is a 50-50 raffle?
Yes, we are only wishing to do a 50-50 raffle.
Okay. And that's going to be out in the open?
No.
Or
So for you to be able to, we'll sell the 50-50 tickets to those that are participating in Back to the Bricks, but the ticket pool will have to take place in the Dryden building, and we're going to have a very specific time. We're going to pull the ticket at 3:30. You have to be present in the building if you purchase the 50-50 ticket.
Okay, so the winner will have to be present to win?
Yes, that is a part of the Gaming Commission rules. For you to be able to participate in a 50-50 raffle in Michigan, it cannot be digital or anything like that. They have to be present in the space when the raffle ticket is called.
And the raffle will be, what date will the raffle begin and end?
It will be on August 16th. The event will take place from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So ideally, I'm having individuals recruit foot traffic to our space to support those vendors, but as well as, again, utilizing the 50-50 raffle as an alluring piece. And then they have to, if they purchase a ticket, they have to be in the building by 3:30 to hear if the raffle ticket is called.
Okay, so on the 16th, you'll start selling tickets somewhere before or shortly after
10 a.m.
10 a.m. And will you be selling them exclusively from a booth, or will someone be roaming around the crowd to also sell?
I have a group of individuals who are going to be volunteers that are going to go and promote the sale of the 50-50 raffle. So they will be taking money and giving out tickets, but the winner cannot be selected. We won't announce that. They have to be in the Dryden building to see if their ticket is called.
Okay, and what allotments or what dollar amounts are the tickets going to be sold in?
We have, the idea is that we'll sell 3 tickets for $10, essentially $2 per ticket, and then try to create a deal for them if they do, like, I think.
But the minimum purchase is like $10?
Yes.
Okay. And because of some of my professional experience, I'm always thinking security.
Yeah.
So is it going to be cash and some kind of credit card tap that's going to be happening with the people who are roaming throughout?
We are only taking cash payments for the 50-50 raffle. I'm requesting that a group of an organization, they supply volunteers, so they will have like a buddy ideally, and then we are asking for a small raffle license, so we don't foresee us going over $500.
Okay. Like I said, I'm also wanting to be mindful of those that are going to be exchanging cash and people seeing cash exchanged just, roaming through. And it seems like you have given that some consideration, which I would hope you would have.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
Good. Then I think otherwise, I'm good. Now, will the tickets that are being printed have the disclosure that you have to be present to win?
Yes, we will make that very clear when a raffle ticket is purchased.
By printing it on the ticket or just verbally?
Verbally, when we go around and we announce that we're conducting a 50-50 raffle, we'll say it's essentially $2 per ticket. You must be present in the building by 3:30 to see if you're a winner. If that person isn't in the building, we're moving on and pulling another ticket.
Maybe to consult with your counsel to see if it might be wise to add that verbiage on the ticket itself as well. Just something for you to consider.
Okay.
But thank you. I yield.
Thank you. Anybody else in the first round of discussion? Anybody in the second round of discussion? Seeing as how there's no one in the second round of discussion, this is the roll call vote to send Resolution 250187-T, Charitable Gaming License 100K Ideas Nonprofit Organization, to council. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley is not in. Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin is not in. Vote is 6 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no. That resolution 250187-T has been sent to council. Thank you, Ms. Williams. Moving on to resolution 250174-T, which is recognition of June 2025 Pride Month, Mayor and City Council. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman in the second ward.
I would like to move that resolution to council.
There is a motion to move the resolution to council. Is there support? Is there support? I'll support it. Is there discussion in the first round?
Madam Chair.
Councilman in the 8th ward.
Without getting too much into details, I will not be supporting this. Thank you.
All right, is there anyone else in the first round of discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the second ward.
Thank you. So, understanding that it is our responsibility to represent everyone, just like we represented African American History Month, we recognized Women's History Month, and we also in the past, in 2022, we recognized Pride Month. And I don't understand why we just don't, I guess this is symbolic to do it yearly, why we just can't recognize them, period. However, I am a proud ally of the residents of this city, and it is, and I am here to support everyone. And also, seeing how a lot of the county commissioners caught a lot of heat, it's something that we need to think about. Put personal biases to the side and just think about the people that we represent. And so that is why I'm going to support Resolution 250174, recognition of June 2025 Pride Month on behalf of the mayor and city council, because I wanted to echo loudly that the second ward, that I support every single resident in all walks of life for the betterment of the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the first round of discussion? Seeing as how there is no one else in the first round of discussion, I will go ahead and take my time. This is Resolution 250174-T, resolution recognizing June 2025 as Pride Month by the Mayor and City Council. Whereas the City of Flint is committed to fostering an inclusive community that celebrates diversity, promotes equality, and protects the rights and dignity of all residents regardless of sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression. And whereas June is nationally recognized as Pride Month, commemorating the courage of those who stood up for LGBTQ+ rights during the Stonewall riots in June 1969, and honoring the ongoing struggle for equality, acceptance, and civil rights. And whereas LGBTQ+ individuals have made significant contributions to our community and business, arts, education, public service, and countless other fields, enriching the cultural, social, and economic fabric of our city. And whereas despite progress toward equality, LGBTQ+ individuals continue to face discrimination, harassment, and violence, making continued advocacy and support essential for creating a truly inclusive society. And whereas LGBTQ+ youth are disproportionately high risk for bullying, mental health challenges, and homelessness, requiring community support and affirmation to ensure their safety and well-being. And whereas cities across the nation have recognized the importance of official support for LGBTQ+ Pride Month as a means of promoting understanding, celebrating diversity, and demonstrating municipal commitment to equal rights. And whereas supporting Pride Month aligns with our city's core values of respect, inclusion, and equal opportunity for all residents and visitors, says be it resolved by the mayor and the city council of the city of Flint that we hereby officially recognize June Pride Month, acknowledge the valuable contributions of LGBTQ individuals to our community. I want to add another whereas they are human and they do not have to explain themselves nor their feelings to anyone, whereas we all live our lives how we want to. Whereas, like our colleague in the second ward stated, we recognize so many other months, so many other people. We should also recognize them and their autonomy to be able to choose the lives that they want to live as well. I will be supporting this resolution. Moving on to the second round of discussion. Is there anyone else who would like to speak in the second round of discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilman in the 9th ward, you have the floor.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the administration that can speak to this resolution?
I'm not quite sure, but it's a resolution on behalf of council and the administration. So I don't know if Mr. Edwards wants to come and speak on it, or if maybe you want to direct something in general to council. You have that. Can we pause his time? Thank you. Yeah, I didn't think he heard me at first.
Hey, how you doing? Good.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you,
yes.
to Mr. Edwards. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
What I want to try to understand or make sure I understand is the recognition. Is the recognition, does it extend past the resolution, meaning is there going to be a city-funded parade or march or anything like that, or is it almost as simple as the resolution that acknowledges Pride Month?
Yeah, Councilman, the only thing I'm aware of is that it's an acknowledgement, a formal executive acknowledgement of the day. That's all I'm aware of.
Yeah, and that's what I want to. That's what I want to confirm. I just, want to make sure that in the approval of this now or hereafter there's not an expectation to come of an event that is going to be underwritten by the city in any way.
Not that I'm aware of, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Madam Chair, through you to my council colleagues who...
Something is humming.
My council colleagues who may have been instrumental in putting together this resolution, is it your understanding also that the recognition sort of is as simple as the resolution and no events that are going to require funding to follow?
Correct. There has been no request for anything. This is just simply the council and the mayor joining in with the county, countless other cities and counties and states across the country, and recognizing June as Pride Month, as has the state of Michigan.
I yield.
Thank you. Anybody else in the second round of discussion? Seeing as how there's nobody else in the second round of discussion, thank you, Mr. Edwards. This is the roll call vote for Resolution 250174-T, which is the recognition of June 2025 Pride Month. Mayor and City Council roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Priestley is absent. Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
No.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin is absent. Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
The vote is 5 yes, 1 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 1 no. That resolution 250174-T, recognition of June 2025 Pride Month for the mayor and city council, will be sent to council. Moving on to resolution 250131-T, which is the prevailing wage standard city funded construction projects. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman in the second ward, you have the floor.
let's move that resolution to council as well.
There is a motion on the floor to move resolution 250131-T to council by the councilwoman in the second ward. Is there support? I will support that. It's been moved and properly supported. Is there discussion in the first round?
Yep.
Councilman in the 8th ward, you have the floor.
Yep, so, based on the way that this is worded, and we can't, according to the attorney, force non-government or non-federal projects to be, to my understanding, we can't force non-federal to be prevailing wage. Did I get that correct?
Almost. What I stated was we cannot force employers
To pay these rates.
to pay prevailing wage rates. If it does not apply to them, we can encourage.
So based on that, and this not actually going to be changing the purchasing policy and the way that this worded, it lends the idea that bidders will be told to put prevailing wages on there to get a leg up. So because of that potentially unfair bidding practice, I think I'm going to vote no on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the first round of discussion? Anybody else in the first round of discussion? Okay, seeing as how there's no one else, I will go ahead and take my time in the first round of discussion. Is there someone who can speak to this resolution from the administration? Thank you. Would you please state your name and your title for me?
Yes, Lauren Rowley. I'm the purchasing manager.
Hello, Lauren. Thank you for joining us here this evening. Could you talk to us a little bit about this resolution? It's my understanding that this resolution is in support of unions.
I cannot speak to the intent of it. I can just speak to, as far as purchasing goes, my knowledge of, is this working? Yes. Of some of the prevailing wage things, but as far as the language from what I've read in it, and I would defer to Joanne to correct me if I'm wrong, it just kind of says that, I kind of support what Pfeiffer, Councilman Pfeiffer said. It just kind of says, hey, we're allowed to award you something if you pay prevailing wages, but it's not locking us into anything specific. We already have some federally funded jobs that do require prevailing wages. CDBG, HUD, ARPA is not one of them. So we already do follow those particular guidelines if it's enforced. But generally, otherwise, we don't. I think there are some things that could be potentially a warning sign in doing so. It could potentially hurt small businesses. I will say that. You have a lot of local businesses that maybe hire part-time workers, retired workers, seasonal workers. And if they're told to put prevailing wages on, they may not bid at all, which is disappointing. And then you also have that if they pay the prevailing wages, then they will just tack those costs onto the city. So those are other ways of looking at it.
Right, and so you said, because ARPA is just a one-time thing, but you said as far as like the community block grant dollars, those do require basically to pay prevailing wage. You said we have other things that require that as well, or?
Federally, I think it's CDBG, HUD, and then a lot of the SRF-funded projects, like the water projects mainly require those prevailing wage rates. And those do come with not only just requiring those prevailing wage rates, it's compliance of those rates. So we have to hire someone to actually go to the sites and ensure that those vendors are turning in their prevailing wage payroll sheets. I'm sending the information to Eagle to say, yes, this particular vendor for this block of time did submit the correct payroll. It's a whole thing, and if the city moved in the direction of requiring it down the line, I would see there needing to be a position filled to make sure that compliance is enforced, so.
Right, but for the most part, pretty much projects in the city of Flint, construction-wise, pretty much they adhere to or require prevailing wage in some way, shape, or form.
Correct.
Right, and so I'm just understanding that this is also saying that the city of Flint may preferentially award construction contracts to successful bidders to the extent provided by the law that pay their subcontractors and construction mechanics not less than the prevailing wage and fringe benefits in city projects. So this is also a way to kind of incentivize the very few projects that we have that do not, correct?
It could be, depending on how you look at it, yes. Yep, right. And we do also hire union companies that are not federally funded too. So, that doesn't say we only hire union companies if it's federally funded. That's false.
Right.
We have a lot of them that work, you know, maintenance contracts here at the city that are union, so, but we don't require the necessary prevailing wages, though they already do pay their employees those prevailing wages.
Right, and so this is just something that's kind of a push, especially because we know in Michigan 2 seasons, right? Winter and construction. And so this is just one of those things that kind of pushes toward those construction workers whom, whatever the job is, whether it's them standing in traffic holding the signs or them doing some of the actual physical labor, those people who are kind of risking life and limb, just putting them in a better place financially for their family if they do these projects. So that's kind of what this resolution is saying on top of the, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Could be, yes. Like I said, I don't specific, my guess is that the intent was to show union support, which is great. But there's nothing really identifying in there to tell us, there's nothing that's a must, right? So it's kind of like, hey, you can give these people an upper
Well,
hand
it
at
does
their prevailing
say,
wage.
which kind of helps City of Flint, may preferentially.
May.
So that's kind of
Correct.
a push there to say, without saying that, you know, if you are paying these wages, we will be more likely to decide that this is a good fit for the city. Okay.
And could muddle it, to me, and looking at it, could maybe muddle.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Moving on to the second round of discussion, is there anyone who would like the floor in the second round of discussion? Councilman in the 8th Ward.
So, Lauren, this is basically contracts that maybe come out of the general fund, right? For the most part?
It depends. I mean, if that wants to apply to all RFPs of any work exceeding $2,000 that are city, it could vary how it's funded.
Right. So here's why, a good reason why I'm voting no, is if a small contractor comes in to mow lawns or whatever, right? And they charge X amount of dollars. Well, now a bigger contractor comes in and actually charges the city more. Now we're saying, well, we may give the bigger guy.
Bingo.
So to me, this is, and when they're bidding, when the small guy against the big guy is bidding, they don't know. So they're going to try to win the bid at the lowest rate and not knowing that they're going to be disadvantaged because the other contractor, which we don't require disclosure before bid, is doing prevailing wage. So to me, to your point, we're driving away potentially lower cost, small contractors, and costing the residents more money.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and we do a lot of, just to point on that, we do a lot of initiatives with small businesses and local businesses trying to get them how to do business with the city of Flint, right? Like we've done vendor events of, you know, this is how you go on BidNet and register so you can, I would hate to see some of those small businesses who've done very well. Mowing is a great example. I don't know if it would necessarily apply with this resolution, but if it did, like it could cripple a company that does a lot of work seasonally, and I'd hate to see that happen.
And to your point, this doesn't impact unions because unions are already well above prevailing wage. So if unions are bidding, we're keeping in all sense, we're keeping union companies honest because then they know they're competing against potentially someone else, right?
I don't, in my personal professional opinion, I don't believe that this would necessarily, to not support this would be an anti-union movement, if that makes sense, if that's the
because we,
view that
like you said, we have a majority of our contractors are union already, but the small niche contract that we may have an opportunity for small business, we're putting them at a disadvantage.
Potentially, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the second round of discussion? Okay, seeing as how there's no one else in the second round of discussion, I will go ahead and take my time. And thank you for staying up here. But this is kind of more aimed towards union protected wages and people undercutting quality work though, right? So it's not necessarily something that will affect, and to my colleague's point, but something that will affect people who are coming in getting lawn mowing contracts or something small like that, correct?
I don't know exactly. I would have to refer to legal if this were to get approved, what it would mean for me and who it would apply to and what projects.
So just one second.
Yes.
City attorney, This is more so aimed at, or more about union protected wages, right? And just making sure that quality work is not being undercut, correct?
I would say that it, of course, is not for undercutting quality work, but it specifically states that it applies to construction projects. So construction projects only.
So
is
it's
what
specifically
this-
about construction projects,
Correct.
not necessarily about like lawn mowing and things of that nature, right?
Not based on what is written here.
Okay. So, all right. So again, just based off of the fact that this is construction projects only and making sure that people are paid fair wages for, again, the work that we do, that we know that happens with construction. And again, we have a whole season for construction in the state. And this is just making sure that those who are doing that labor are being paid, are being paid fairly. And it's also to incentivize others who may be thinking of undercutting that quality work to keep in mind that more work is probably guaranteed for, I'm not even gonna say guaranteed, but like, it's probably just better to pay people the fair wages as opposed to trying to get contracts and undercutting how much people are being paid.
Are you asking me that
Yes.
question? I think it's all very dependent. I mean, I come from a union family of contractors, but you're looking at a city council chamber that was completed by, you know, a non-union company who I think did a great job. So who worked alongside some union contractors to get it completed. So it doesn't necessarily mean if a non-union company might undercut.
Right, but
work.
again, whether it's
just all in
union,
the-
obviously union can't undercut, but specifically, stay where you are. If it is non-union, this is something to incentivize them to pay the same fair rates that you would be paying if it was a union contract, correct?
It could incentivize, yes, I guess that would be the potential of it, yes.
All right, thank you. Seeing as how I was the last person to speak, thank you so much,
Yes.
Lauren. In the second round of discussion, this is Resolution 250131-T, which is the prevailing wage standard city-funded construction projects. Roll call, and this is the roll call vote to send it to council. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
No.
Ms. Burns?
No.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
No.
Mr. Jarrett?
No.
Mr. Alamin is absent. Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley is absent. The vote is 2 yes, 4 no.
The vote is 2 yes, 4 no. Resolution 250131-T, prevailing wage standard city-funded construction projects fails to move to council. Moving on to Resolution 250175-T, which is the reallocation of ARPA funds for private tree removal program. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman in the second ward.
I would like to move that resolution to council.
There is a motion on the floor by the councilwoman in the second ward to move this resolution to council. Is there support? I will support that. Is there discussion in the first round?
Madam Chair.
Councilman in the ninth ward.
Through you to those in the administration that can speak to this.
Absolutely. Is there someone here? I believe Heather Griffin is here.
Hello.
Good evening. So if I recall, back in January, we approved resolutions similar, correct?
We did.
Okay. And is this in fact an additional 200,000 or something extending that 200,000 past June 30?
It's an additional.
Okay.
It was money that was reallocated from the account that we used. I don't have my glasses, but it's the 101-728020801, I think, if I'm reading it correctly. The initial one was for $324,000, and from that same account, we're asking for $200,000 additional funds to go towards this program.
So that would then make it a total of 400,000 that we would have allocated towards.
Yeah, 5,000 and 224.
I'm sorry.
524,000. So it'd be 324,000 plus 200,000.
Oh, yeah. That's right. It was 300. Okay. So can then am I to understand the entire 324 has been expended?
Most of it has, but we have some additional options. There's a serious need, a lot more than I anticipated would come in. And since there is such a need, it just made sense that if we have money that we can reallocate that's not assigned, that this would be a perfect program. The residents we're getting a variety of residents. Sometimes, and this is what I'm finding right now as we're reviewing some of the applications. We've already started the process for the income-based grant program. The applications that have been already vetted and are ready to go, we've called all the residents, and we're starting the process to send a vendor over and start the movement of the program of getting their trees removed there. What I'm finding is that there's also the matching program, and the application was simpler. And I think that when residents saw it, maybe they didn't understand which one that they were trying to apply for, but because it was simple and they had a deadline, they wanted to get it in. So I estimate there's actually going to be a lot more people in that category who actually need to fill out the other application and get that vetted.
So approximately how much of the 324 has been allocated?
Right now, we're at about 250.
Okay, and was there a maximum amount per tree?
For the current program, yes.
And
it
what
was
is
going
that?
to be for the grant one, which is the one where it's income-based, and they're eligible for the HOPE program, or meet the criteria of the HOPE program. They're eligible to receive up to, they're not in their hand, they're going to receive up to 100,000, I'm sorry, I apologize. They're going to receive 1,000.
Up to 1,000.
Up to 1,000 go towards that tree service.
And what about the matching?
And then the matching, it's going to be $1 to dollar up to 1,000.
So in each instance, up to 1,000.
Yes.
Now, how exactly are you prioritizing the need? As far as, this seems more, in quote, critical because it poses whatever. How are you determining that?
Well, in general, that's what this program is. The people who are applying are concerned about safety issues. They're concerned about the neighbor's tree leaning over their garage. They're worried about an old tree that a main leaf fell off of it, and they're concerned that the rest of the tree will fall into the house. And so that's all of the ones that I've received have all been based around that criteria. So at this point, we haven't had to differentiate someone who maybe wasn't considering that they had an emergency. Everyone that's come in is based on an emergency need.
Okay. And can you provide for us a site map where approvals have taken place throughout the city at this point?
I don't have one made, but I can definitely put something together.
Okay.
Now, I don't have a map. I have general addresses. It's pretty diverse around the city, the people that have applied.
And that's, you're reading, yes, that's part of what I want to ensure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the first round of discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 6th Ward.
Thank you. Hi, Heather.
Hi.
Thank you for taking care of, your response to the tree issue. I appreciate you, and so do the residents. So, how much is it? And I was trying to do some other reading. So, what is the max that a person per household can get?
Technically, for either program, it's going to be up to $1,000 of service provided to them. Other than in the matching side, they're going to match dollar to dollar. So if they match that 1,000 to 1,000, they potentially could have 2,000 based on the 1,000 we provide and the 1,000 they provide. But that's only in the matching program. And that's similar to the 50-50 sidewalk, because I know the many times we've been discussing it, that was one of the things that we were looking at, is to make a consistent message and a method that was made sense. So that's how it's based.
Okay, and how many have you had so far this year? Do you know, or is it just
the applications? It's around 250, if I remember the last count. But be aware that there are also applications that come in that are not eligible, And I know that was one of the questions about how we consider that. Well, people are applying from Burton, Mount Morris Township, Flint Township. So any of them that have a Flint address have been applying. So we have had to call the residents and let them know that this is, a City Flint specific program.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Anybody else in the first round of discussion?
Madam
Councilwoman
Chair,
in the 5th Ward, you have the floor.
I think, hi Heather, Madam
Hi.
Chair, through you to Heather. I may have missed this, okay? I think, so you said 250 applicants that you've already received?
Yep. I'm
Right.
approximating. That was in my remembrance. I believe that was the count. Yeah.
Okay, but you guys have not removed any trees yet?
We have not.
Okay. You're just asking for additional funding to make sure that we have enough funding for whoever applies?
Yes, because they're actually, we had a lot come in even after we shut it. On May 10th is when we shut down the first round. So there will be another round coming. And we already have an abundance of them. I didn't actually count those that are actually waiting for the next time.
Okay.
So,
did we talk about eligibility? What is the eligibility requirements again?
So for the match, the eligibility is based on if you meet the criteria for the HOPE program. You don't have to apply for the HOPE program, but we're using that criteria. We're using the same application, but we're taking out all the information that doesn't pertain to the tree program itself. And then that's vetted through the assessing office because we didn't really want other people to see the finances. It needed to stay with the area that needs to do that and has been doing that. So once they get that approved, they stamp it and sign off on it, and then we know that they've been vetted and they are eligible. And that's based on, again, income-based, and that's the one we're calling a grant program. The matching, the criteria for both programs is that they have to be owner-occupied. So, because what we're finding also is that we have different people who may not live in the home, they live in Grand Blanc or some other place, and they're wanting to get the service. And there is such a need of people who actually own the home that doesn't have the resource to get, the kind of service they need for those private trees. So we were trying to keep that very precise and make sure it's property owned, and that they live in the home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I yield, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Anybody else in the first round of discussion? Mr. Pfeiffer, you have the floor.
Real quick, Heather, do they have to be current with all of their taxes, water bill?
We did not assess that. We did not consider that in it because, again, it's about safety. And if someone's living in the property or owns the property and they happen to be late on some kind of, because we know that there are a lot of people, especially with the water, because of we went through a lot of things. So to make them say, okay, I'm sorry, you didn't pay your water bill this month, so you're not eligible to remove a safety tree. So we did not consider that as an eligibility.
Well, but are we determining that it's a safety issue or just it has to be a safety issue then, right?
Well, that's the premise of it, is that there's a safety concern.
So it can't just be an unwanted tree, right?
I'm so sorry. I'm having a really hard time hearing.
It's got to be an imminent safety? How do we determine what's a safety issue?
So what we have learned with safety is that, and this happens a lot with residents, where they have a property bordering another property. And they'll be like, okay, well, there's a tree on this property, and I need the city to do something about it. Well, that's not in our jurisdiction. We don't go onto a private property and say, okay, you have to cut that down. So it becomes a litigation, basically, between both of those parties. However, as a property owner, you do have the right to cut back the parts of the vegetation that potentially can cause a hazard. And we get a lot of those calls, right? It's over my garage, it's over my house, it's over my car. And that will give them that opportunity to cut back that vegetation when they have not been able to do it before because they just didn't have the funds or the means.
Okay. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the first round of discussion? Councilwoman in the second ward, I think you're the only one who has not taken time. Seeing as how there's no one else in the first round of discussion, is there anyone in the second round of discussion? Seeing as how there's no one in the second round of discussion, thank you, Ms. Griffin. This is the roll call vote for Resolution 250175-T to send reallocation of the ARPA funds for private tree removal program to council. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin is absent. Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley is absent. Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no. Resolution 250175-T, which is the reallocation of ARPA funds private tree removal program, has been sent to council. Moving on to Resolution 250189-T, which is to approve the lease portion McKinley Center Genesee Conservation District organization to council. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman in the second ward.
I would like to send that resolution to council as well.
It has been moved that this resolution gets sent to council. Is there support? I'll support it. Is there discussion in the first round?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the sixth ward.
To you two, I believe Mr. Mark Evans is here.
Yes, and then also so is Angela Warren from the Genesee Conservation District.
And I think,
If you both could approach the lectern. Oh, you don't want them?
I don't think I need her. And I need, who is in charge from the city, who develops the lease? Is
Mr.
that
Taylor.
Mr. Taylor. Hello. So with this project, well, you're already up here, Angela, so, and you, Mr. Evans, so the project will be working together, is that correct? Go ahead, y'all can answer that.
I think this agreement right here is just the lease agreement for the.
Sorry, please pause the time. I want to remind everyone in the back that we are trying to hear up here and your conversations are loud. Could you please start our time?
And Ms. Burns, to answer your question, I believe we're here today to address the lease agreement between the city and Genesee Conservation District.
Yes, and is your project part of that? Because I read your business plan prior. So that goes into how your rent is being paid.
Yes.
So, are you working, so will both of you, so what business, you're the South Side, right?
I represent the
Southside Neighborhood Coalition.
Correct.
And she is Genesee Conservation, right?
Correct.
And so, but you're working you'll be together in that area in McKinley Center.
We
Is
will
that
be
correct?
working. We will be working together in some capacity.
Okay. So what do you mean in some capacity?
We will be hosting the neighborhood group meetings. Anything that she needs support in, we'll be supporting the Genesee
Okay.
Conservation District in this lease.
Okay. So thank you, Mr. Taylor. How did we come up with the rent for this?
If I am not mistaken, that's what they offered for the two. Well, they'll have two specific rooms, but they will have, use to the entire facility. Plus, they'll be dealing with outdoors. They've got certain activities, and she could tell you about it. They've got certain activities that'll be outdoors as well.
So they're not using the entire facility?
They have access to the entire facility, yes, but they need 2 office spaces, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
A classroom and an office space.
Yeah, it was a classroom and an office space.
So they will be at the facility, but along with the city, because I believe, our new coordinator, deputy director with the Mays Center, she will be over the McKinley Center too, is that correct?
I'm not understanding what you said. What did you say?
Would Mrs. Wiggins be over the McKinley Center, because that's what was talked about in the budget hearing?
Well, basically you have, it could be either her or it could be Mr. Richardson. You got Mr. Richardson as her assistant or deputy director, and you've got Ms. Wiggins as the director. So it doesn't really matter which one that they're over, just long as they oversee it, because we are the city and we own the property.
So here's my question. If the city has the property, so is she going to be both of she's over them, or we're leasing? I mean, because it doesn't seem, they have a lease, why is the city even in this with her being a director over those two? Because that's their property. They have a lease agreement. But
Yes.
You're saying they're not using the entire property?
I'm gonna repeat it one more time. The city of Flint owns the property, as you know.
Mr. Taylor, I'm very clear of that. And that's not my question, and I'm gonna repeat myself one more time. Who will all be in this property? Because she stated she's the director. And so if they're leasing it, this is their lease and they have a budget. So I'm assuming who will be doing the opening and the closing of the property if we have Mr. Evans and with the Genesee County Conservation?
They will have a key to open the property. They will have a key to close the property.
Okay, so the rental rate, which is at $1,291.67 for 5 years. And so it doesn't take
That's not correct. If I'm not mistaken, the resolution that came up should have showed 1,400.
And is that for the entire 5 years?
It said 24 months, if I can remember. I don't have it in front of me, but it said 24 months, if I can remember.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the first round of discussion? Is there anyone else in the first round of discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilman in the 9th Ward.
Thank you. Through you, wow. I just drew a blank. Yeah. You drew a blank too. Oh, wow. I'm sorry, sir. I just drew a blank on your name, just that quick. Not you, Mark. I know you're Mr. Taylor. Mr. Taylor, I'm sorry. Just drew a blank that quick. If I'm following, then the city is going to maintain operating authority over the building.
You got it.
Okay. And at this point, this resolution speaks to leasing a portion of the building to the Conservation District.
Correct.
Okay. Can you share with me approximately what is the size of the building and how much of it will the organization have at their sole discretion?
I can't remember the size of it anymore. I did have the square footage. You have it? I do. Okay. What's the square footage of this building? I can't remember what it was, the total square footage, but they have 2 rooms. They have a classroom and they have another room.
Okay.
But they will have access to the facility.
Right.
They'll have access to the outside. They'll have access to the inside. They'll be able to operate and run their programs. They've got several different programs between this young man here and this young lady here that they are going to do together.
Right. So I believe part of what Councilwoman in the 6th Ward was speaking to is the first iteration of and the vision for that center. And the first iteration included in a more direct way Mr. Evans and the Southside Neighborhood Coalition. That has since been revised some to where currently we're at and having discussion only about the Genesee Conservation District currently with the potential for something additional?
I've been had discussions with both of them for the Genesee County Conservation District as well as the South Side Neighborhood Coalition.
Okay.
So it's been consistent with him and her together with me.
Okay.
In meetings for probably the last 6 months, I believe.
Wonderful. Me and names, I apologize.
Don't
ma'am.
worry about it.
Can you tell us, ma'am, what do you look to, what types of programming and what will you be doing out of the space? And I want to speak specifically to the benefit of the residents of the city of Flint.
Absolutely. We've been wanting a space where we could bring people to, both indoors and outdoors. Bringing people to nature, because we're a natural resource agency, is what we want access to. So this building affords that with its forested area, with its naturalized areas, with the water. I think it will be beneficial to people, the various workshops that we have planned, and then other workshops that deal with natural resources as residents request them.
It was my understanding also that there's a certain amount of maintenance that you all also look to do both with the water and the adjoining property as well. Is that also the case?
Absolutely. Anywhere we can lend our expertise for the benefit of that area, we're interested in.
Okay. Obviously, it sits in the 9th Ward. So obviously, I would have some interest in understanding what is going to go on with it, and especially to understand how it's going to benefit both the residents in the immediate 9th Ward and how it's going to be made available to residents throughout the city. So I thank you in the first round for the exchange.
Thank you. Anybody else in the first round of discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 5th Ward, you have the floor.
Through you to, I believe, Mr. Taylor. Mr. Taylor.
Yeah.
So we do have the resolution. However, we do not have a lease attached to this supplemental materials. Do we have a lease?
No, we don't. The lease, I actually didn't even know it was on the agenda today, first of all.
So do we
But
need to?
The lease will be squared up by Wednesday. I had already talked to Joanne about it. We had a meeting about it today, and it will be squared away by Wednesday.
So, do we need to table this until the next council meeting, until we get a lease, until just keep this in special affairs? Madam Chair, through you to Attorney Gurley.
Thank you, Councilwoman Winfrey Carter. The basic terms are there. It just needs to be drafted with the exhibit that shows the space that they're going to have. So I'll leave it to your discretion, but it'll be a very easy lease with the basic terms that's listed here.
Well, I'm going to say this, and if my colleagues would like me to make that amendment, you want to speak? Okay. So I'll yield my time, because I just want to say I'm not going to vote on this until I see a lease. You know, I just can't do that. I need all the materials and documents that we need in front of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the first round of discussion? Councilman in the 8th Ward, you have the floor.
Yeah, I agree with you. I want to see the, and no offense to you folks, I want to see the lease to make sure that we're doing our due diligence on the lease and making sure that we are approving the language of the lease, not just this resolution. To me, we have been this council body has been disrespected on the golf courses and not being able to see the lease. So unfortunately, we lost the trust to make sure that we are being good fiduciaries for the city. So I will support waiting to see the lease just to make sure that everything is in line. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the first round of discussion? All right, seeing as how there's no one else in the first round of discussion, I will go ahead and take my time. Thank you both for joining us this evening. I know that you both do a lot of really good work in the community. I want to speak with Ms. Warren really quickly about the Genesee Conservation District and some of the work that you've done in the community over the years. The Genesee Conservation District has been around for how long?
Established in 1946.
1946. And since then, the Genesee Conservation District has worked specifically with the city of Flint in a really good productive partnership in addressing one of the things that we talk about a lot. As a matter of fact, our last resolution was about it, and that's about trees and tree removal. And one of the services that you do offer at the Conservation District is that you will come out and you will check trees to make sure that they are still alive, healthy, if they have any fungus or disease or anything of that nature, correct?
Correct. We've worked in partnership with the city of Flint since at least 2012, or 2012. Yeah.
Right, and I know one of the things that you seek to do with this space is to continue that community education and offer classes where residents would be able to kind of identify different issues with their trees for themselves, correct?
Absolutely.
Right, and I also know that there, with it being a conservation district, there's a lot of water education that will go into that, and there are just other community education pieces that the Genesee Conservation District will offer, correct?
Yes.
Right, and then Mr. Evans with the Southside Neighborhood Coalition, because I know you service 7th and 9th ward, because that's pretty much the South Side. It's just those two wards, because we both have large areas in the 7th and 9th ward. And so some of the community work that you do, in addition to working with the Genesee Conservation District, is you do a lot of community education, as well a lot of community cleanups, a lot of handling of blight, a lot of taking care of like excess tires, not excess tires, but taking care of tires that have been dumped in neighborhoods or at houses where they shouldn't be. I know you all also do some removal of tree limbs, sometimes after the storms and all that, correct?
Correct.
Right, and so I pointed all of that out to say that these are two community-rooted organizations that have been doing the work, and they're doing a really good job at the work. Ms. Warren, I know that you and your staff are so committed to the work that you're doing that you have a temporary location that you've been trying to move from for quite some time now, because I know you have had other options for other buildings that you could move into, that you would be able to pay this rent and help provide just some help to those other buildings, but you've chosen to remain steadfast and work with the city and work out a contract so that you could offer that community education in a city community center, correct?
Correct.
Right, and then I know that as far as, because we talked about, someone mentioned earlier about some renovations or something of that nature. Clyde, if you could just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down to what I'm about to say, but it is, based on the funding that we have for the building, the city is required to, I want to make sure, and I had to pull up my notes on my phone, give me 1 second. But the city owns the building, so we're required by the funder of the renovations to allow a community organization to utilize the building. Correct? Yes, no? Yes, thumbs up, thank you very much. And so having these two different community organizations have access to the building, the entire building, both inside and out, is going to be something that is a bonus to us. I wanted to clear up, there will be 2 office spaces and a classroom that will be specifically for you though, correct?
Yes.
Yes, right, and then the rest of the center you'll have access to. I don't know if people have had an opportunity to go there, but there's the big, beautiful area with a beautiful kitchen that you will also have access to. There's an outside deck. There's a beautiful area over there with water and all of that. And Mr. Evans, if I'm not mistaken, your community group has already kind of been doing some work over there, right? You all helped to clear out some of the brush and some of the garbage and some of the blight that was over there so that we could see how beautiful this property is in the 9th Ward, correct?
Correct.
Right, all right, so I do understand my colleagues wanting to see a lease, but for the terms and agreement that you have agreed to and that you understand, you two are both okay with these lease terms, correct?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
All right, well, thank you very much. I just wanted to make sure that, we had an opportunity to talk about some of the amazing work both of your organizations are doing here. I do wish we did have the lease in front of us before us today, but it doesn't sound like, unless my colleagues get to see the lease, that this will move forward. But you do have my support on that once we do have the lease here in front of us. That's it in the first round of discussion. Second round of discussion, Councilwoman Winfrey Carter, you have the floor.
Madam Chair, I would like to make an amended motion to keep this resolution in special affairs.
All right, there's a motion on the floor by the councilwoman in the 5th Ward to keep this resolution here in special
Madam
affairs
Chair.
until our next, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Request for information.
What's your request?
Is my colleague aware that there is a special city council meeting on Wednesday that this may be able to be moved to?
Madam Chair.
What's your point of order? What's your request for information? Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would like to make the motion, the amended motion, that we keep this in special affairs. What's the next special affairs date?
Madam Clerk.
Where are we today? This is the second Monday. The fourth Monday. Right.
I'm sorry, that is going to be the 23rd.
Yes, for the meeting for the 23rd.
It has been moved by a councilwoman in the 5th Ward that this stay in committee, special affairs committee, until the next meeting, which is to take place on Monday, June 23rd at 4:30 p.m. And the lease should be made available to council by then. It's been properly supported by the councilman in the 8th Ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Mashat? Yes. Mr. Pfeiffer? Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Vote is 6 yes, 0 no.
Vote is 6 yes, 0 no. This stays in special affairs until Monday, June 23rd.
Thank you.
All right, moving right along to Resolution 250182-T, which is a grant acceptance for continuing professional education, State of Michigan Commission Law Enforcement Standards. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair?
Councilwoman in the 2nd Ward.
Yes, I would like to move this resolution to council.
All right, there is a motion on the floor to move this resolution to council. Is there support? All right, it has been moved by the councilwoman in the 2nd Ward, supported by the chair in the 7th Ward. Is there discussion in the first round?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 2nd Ward.
Thank you. Is there anyone that can come and speak to this professional education for law enforcement? Anyone? Two? No one? Okay. All righty, Rich, can you speak to this? Well, I shouldn't hear you talking up here, buddy. All right, Mr. Edwards, could you please approach the lectern?
This takes so long.
Hi, Mr. Edwards. Do you know anything about this grant acceptance for professional education?
Only that it's a grant to work with law enforcement, that's it.
You said that it's worth a lot, for $99,000, true. Okay, so why do they want to have professional education? What's the point of that?
At this point, I really couldn't tell you. The chief was informed about it, so I'm not sure why he's not here at this point, but. he would be he would be the person that could speak, better to this particular situation.
Okay, all right. Because I see that that it is a grant.
Yes.
But I'm really just trying to get down to the core of why continued professional education is important.
Again, that would, in terms of what the needs are in that department and why this particular grant and funding would be necessary.
In general, I'm talking about in general.
I mean, it's always good in terms of education to improve one's professional standing. So I'm sure that these dollars could be wisely spent to help improve law enforcement in various areas. So I'm sure of that. But what areas, I'm not sure of what they intended to apply it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Edwards.
No problem.
That was primarily what I wanted to be sure on, because I know that it was, I want to stress the importance of continuing professional education. The chief, sometimes you don't have to be here to discuss things that are very important. And every single one of us, regardless of what profession that you are in, should pursue continuing professional education. And that's our public safety heroes, whether they are police or fire. And it's also with your city council representative. It is important for us to get the training that we need to give you the best service, so we can have an understanding of how to do our job better. So thank you so much, Mr. Edwards, and I proudly support this, because if someone thought that it was important to give them $99,000 for training, clearly it is important, and I definitely would like to support that. So thank you so much, Mr. Edwards.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the first round of discussion? Is there anybody in the second round of discussion?
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman in the 6th Ward.
thank you. I wish that Chief Green was here, and I know when we speak to what happened I guess last Monday, and there was a lot of different views with things that happened. I think professional training is good. I truly do, especially when quite often our officers are asked to do things with the public safety plan that doesn't exist, instructed with bad information. So I support continued education. And in reference to, I guess we got drawn into it, taking it and then applying it is a different thing. I will say last Monday came from after Sunday, and we probably could have used a break in between. But for our normal officers here, they're getting to know the crowd. They really are. And I support this, and in diversity, and in understanding that when you're in the city and what has impacted the residents. So I support continued education. I do. I truly do. And that we can all learn something, because that was like a boiler, a pressure cooker that just finally just popped. So I wish he was here to answer some questions, but he's not. If you could have him here Monday, no, we have Monday. Shoot, we are Monday. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe this needs to go back.
Or just leave it here.
Yeah. Yeah, because I would like to know specifically what type of training he's going to use it for. I would like to know that. And I also think that when officers are instructed to do something, and other council members are saying it's not true, I think they need to start asking for it. Is it in writing? Is it an ordinance? Has it been passed? Is it legal? Because some of the stuff they instruct you to do, it's not even legal, and it makes sense. So I'll let my other colleagues speak, but I do have some questions for Chief Green to know where he would like to apply this at. Because there's a mixed emotion with that last week, and a lot happened. I yield the floor.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the second round of discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilman in the 9th Ward, you have the floor.
Thank you. Through you to Mr. Edwards, and I guess for me, this is more of a statement than a question. In looking through the resolution, it would appear that we got to the $99,000 by way of our FTE count. And it looks as if for the city of Flint, they have our FTE at 99, thereby we received $99,000. So what my concern would be, or what my statement is that I would want to ensure that this $99,000 is every FTE receives equal impact as a result, because it was allocated as a result of that FTE, and that it not necessarily go towards a select few by way of either any specialized training or only for a small group education, and especially conference. I would trust that this would not be used for conference, but some type of education and training that would impact all 99 FTE equally and equitably by way of the dollar allocation. And I yield the rest of my time.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the second round of discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 5th Ward.
Madam Chair, I would like to make an amended motion that we keep this particular resolution in special affairs.
Support.
Oh, okay. There's a motion on the floor by the councilwoman in the 5th Ward to leave this in special affairs until the June 23rd meeting, and is supported by the councilwoman in the 6th Ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no. Resolution 250182-T, which is the Grant Acceptance Continuing Professional Education, State of Michigan Commission Law Enforcement Standards, stays in special affairs. Moving on to Resolution 250188-T, which is approving $25,000 emergency funding Flint Genesee Job Corps Center. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman in the 2nd Ward.
I probably would like to move this to council.
There is a motion on the floor by the councilwoman in the 2nd Ward to move this resolution to council. Is there support? I'll support it. Is there discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 2nd Ward, you have the floor in the first round of discussion.
Thank you. Do we have someone here that can speak to this,
I
Madam?
believe Ms. Shebra Ward is in the building. She is joining us at the lectern.
Good evening, Ms. Ward.
Good evening.
Yeah, thank you for sticking and staying. I know that you had a long day, come here in the morning and staying in the evening, so thank you. About the Job Corps funding, you heard my colleagues, they had some questions about it. So can you just brief us on any updates about the funding and the process?
Yes, so to answer the question about if we had the fiduciary, which was Gear Up to Lead, they would not charge anything to sign. They would have the liability insurance needed in order to go to the facility. I had a conversation with Ms. Nataki Purdue. She is the Career Development Director at Job Corps. Due to the current court hearing on June 17th, they have been given instructions that they cannot remove any students right now, neither can they remove any staff. She did inform me that some of the students have come back to campus starting as early as Friday evening. So currently the efforts are on pause because they cannot have any movement, but I still have all of the same partners as mentioned before that are on standby in the event things do not turn out well for them.
All right, so thank you. And it was a great thing seeing you at the Congresswoman event, standing in solidarity with Job Corps. So definitely thank you for that, as well as Councilwoman Mashat. Thank you for being there as well. So is there anything that you want from us tonight? Any suggestions? So should we move on this? Should we wait? What are your recommendations?
So it's at the will of council. Knowing how things are currently in play and in motion, everyone is at a standstill, even the students and the staff at Job Corps. So if you proceed in moving forward, it's great because the funding would be there and we know what we can do if we need to. If you choose to not move it forward, then that's okay. We'll try again depending on what the judgment will be. I have informed Job Corps that I am on standby to assist as needed because now they're trying to get more information even from the students that have returned, which will help me understand what their needs really are. And it is actually a public health issue because in public health, we have something called social determinants of health needs, because 80% of what happens to a person with their health is outside of a clinical setting. So that means if they're concerned of housing, food, healthcare, childcare, whatever it may be, all of that is under public health.
So this also relates to what they coin as ACEs?
ACEs, you say adverse childhood experiences. So,
okay.
So things that happen in childhood will then affect the livelihood you'll have as a functioning adult.
Okay. All right, well, thank you so much, Ms. Ward. I'll allow my colleagues to chime in as well. But, from what I hear, I think it'd be a great idea if we were to move on this money and get things in place. And if we don't need the money, then we just won't use it. But thank you so much. I relinquish my time. I yield, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Anybody else in the first round of discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 6th Ward.
Hi, Sheba. How are you?
I'm well, and you?
Good. Did we ever find out how many children are, and they're not children, well, 16
to
24, so young adults.
Mm-hmm. No, and I called Miss Nataki again. She have so many people calling her, but she was still just at a standstill. We still knew that it was 10 minimum. At that time, it was 14 maximum. And so with the current change, those numbers actually have shifted. So it's still an unknown when it comes to what she's able to give me.
So you're not able to find out how many students move back either?
No, not yet.
Okay.
And I spoke to her earlier today.
So it's fluid. It's a very fluid situation,
Correct.
especially with court. I will not support this right now until we find out. I support the young people because you're not going to know how many are Flint either, will you?
I will not know until she gives me information. Yeah, and I really tried. I did.
Yeah.
She has some staff that they've been trying to work, and I said just something, but she had nothing as of today.
Okay. I will not be supporting this at this time. I'll let my colleagues, because the students are moving back. It's on pause, and having Congress, I think it was a Congresswoman, Kristen McDonald was there and getting involved because it is a federal, Job Corps is a federally funded program.
Correct.
It doesn't lie in city council. And so they have bigger dollars than we have, unless we have to, to give our funds. I think we need to allow that course take its way, and then we can always have a meeting, even if it's during the time or whenever, if you need these funds to move fast, as you are still gathering information and data, because you don't even have it all. Mm-hmm. So to vote on it right now and not having information is very presumptuous because we don't know. We may have to tweak it down to 20. Mm-hmm. If it's only 5 students, we don't even have a number. We don't know the students who are all from Flint. And right now they're moving students back. So I would say let's see what the court and the federal government, let them spend their money, and Flint can keep some of their own money for right now. I yield the floor.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the first round of discussion? All right, seeing as how there's nobody else in the first round of discussion, I will take my time. I think we're dealing with two things can be true in one situation, right? We have a lot happening. I do agree that the federal government does have far more money than the city of Flint, for sure. Like, that's not even a question. But I also do see the fact that the federal government is trying to cut money off from Job Corps, leaving these students homeless, rendering them homeless, that if the court had not stepped in, the federal government wasn't going to use a dime of their bigger money to help the residents in Flint that would have been left homeless after this. And so it is important for Flint to stand at the ready to help the 16 to 24-year-olds who have nothing to do with the fact that the federal government is purposely trying to take their bigger money. I'm going to say the Department of Labor, specifically, is coming from presidential orders. They're trying to take that money away from this program and these students. I believe that they were told first they had until the 30th, and then the next thing you know, they only had, 3 days to get out, which is why the city of Flint came into play, because they were going to leave up to 20 people just homeless, nowhere to go. They sent 145 people back. And I do think that those people that are coming back to the Job Corps campus right now, they're coming back because they're hopeful that on the 17th they will get a positive outcome in court, but they may or may not. And so while the federal dollars are bigger, they should be available because this is their program and they are the ones leaving people homeless. We've also seen that that doesn't matter to them in this situation. And so I do think that we do need to have this money ready just in case, but I also don't think that we need to be trying to figure out how to allocate it before the 17th either, especially if they can still stay on campus, right? I think that this probably just needs to be postponed for now, or maybe left here since our next meeting is the 23rd. And if for whatever the reason they have an emergency situation, we need to be standing at the emergency ready to allocate the dollars if they do need them. But for right now, again, there are two things that are happening here, and I think both need to be acknowledged, is the fact that we're all waiting to see what they say on the 17th. As of right now, those 20 people are no longer homeless. The federal dollars are bigger dollars, but they're trying to take every last one of those big dollars. And so we have to use some of our small dollars to at least get them through to a good transition period. So thank you for your work that you've done with getting those partnerships ready and available. Thank you to all of the partners who are agreeing to help, because again, while this is a federal problem, the federal government is currently trying to do this with that. And so we need to be ready. So thank you to the partners who are standing at the ready. Thank you for your work and moving so fast, right? So because you went from having until June 30th to no, you don't have that much time, you have 3 days, to now they had nowhere to stay and they were just out here in the world. So I think that it speaks to the importance of your position, and it speaks to why in your position you are able to take care of this specific type of need. And again, you've already pointed out that this does indeed fall under public health. You've outlined very well of how this falls under public health. So again, thank you for that. I know that if anyone in this room were to find themselves homeless just out of nowhere within 30 days, first you have 30 days to move, then you have 3 days, then it's just no, get out. I think that they would want us to do all things necessary as well to help them. So I know that they are in support of us doing all things necessary to help the students at Job Corps. And I just also want to say to Kristen McDonald-Rivet that she did step up and just kind of stood in the way, stood in the gap, if you will, and called for the Department of Labor and called for the federal government to uphold its responsibilities. I think that the courts moving swiftly to put that injunction in place was also a good thing, and I'm hoping that on the 17th that students are able to no longer be hanging in the balance, that they can go back to the education that they're trying to get to better their lives. We know that when people attend Job Corps, that they attend Job Corps in different cities, because the whole point of Job Corps is to get you out of that environment which has been detrimental to you, to put you into a new environment and give you new skills to move forward in a career field. And so we know that no system is perfect. There are certainly some numbers with Job Corps that need to be improved, that we need to see improvement with, and if on the 17th they are allowed to stay open, I'm sure we will begin to see those improvements in the numbers. And I think the city of Flint has already shown that we are at the ready to help with whatever improvement that we can on our end. At this point, I am done in the first round of discussion. Is there anyone else who would like to speak in the second round of discussion? Councilman in the 8th Ward, you have the floor.
It doesn't seem that we're moving on this tonight. Can you potentially update the resolution to who the fiduciary is. I don't, can you state who it is real quick?
Gear Up to Lead.
Gear
Up to Lead.
is
They were
going to
called
be,
the Engagement Center as well. They're right on Second, right here
okay.
downtown.
And then, have we identified the dollar value that's going to go to each partner yet?
There is no money going to any partners. Everyone that's doing work would be free. So the Gear Up to Lead, they're needed because if we secured the housing, which we have secured with U of M Flint, we will be paying for the apartment units. So whatever money that is voted on and passed through council, that is the money that we would give to that agency. They would be able to sign, and we would essentially be funding the housing portion. That's it. But they're not charging us at all.
Just the housing portion.
Correct.
So food, basic necessities, all that's going to be taken care of by somebody else?
It is. So I don't think you were here when I spoke before.
No.
So crossover.
I think that was knocking on the midnight hour. So.
It was. So Crossover Outreach and Ministries is on standby. They can provide food, they can provide clothing, they can provide household things. The Greater Flint Health Coalition have a program called CHAP, Community Health Access Program. Each student will be able to be connected with the care coordinator, who's a social worker, registered nurse, or a community health worker, who would help them be able to, the students be able to walk through whatever programs they would qualify for, if it's any benefits, health-wise, food benefits or whatever. And then the Housing Authority is on standby, and they have vouchers for students that would qualify to get them in more permanent housing.
Okay, thank you. I yield. Oh.
Request for information.
What's your request?
Through you to Councilman in the 8th Ward. Is it possible that we may be able to ask Ms. Ward for notes that summarize somewhat these agencies and their responsibilities to be included with the resolution package?
That's a good point. Can we, so when we pass this resolution, if it's needed, to my colleague's point, the resolution, I think that's an excellent point. We should recognize the partners who are donating. So not only just the fiduciary that is going to take care of the housing, but the other ones that are crossover or whatever else, let's recognize them as well for whatever they're going to do. So that would be great if you could work on that so that when it comes before us, we can have it there. And with that being said, I'm going to make a motion to leave that in special affairs.
There's been a motion on the floor, an amended motion on the floor to leave this in special affairs. Is there support? Moved and properly supported by the councilwoman in the 6th Ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Jarrett.
Yes.
Dr. Lewis.
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter.
Yes.
Ms. Burns.
Yes.
Ms. Mashat.
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer.
Yes.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no. Six yes, 0 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no. Resolution 250188-T, approving the $25,000 emergency funding Flint Genesee Job Corps Center stays in special affairs. Councilman, and thank you very much, Ms. Ward. Moving on to
Madam Chair.
Councilman in the 8th Ward.
Given that we have a special meeting on Wednesday, I'm going to do a motion to adjourn.
There is a motion to adjourn. Is there support?
Support.
It's been moved and properly supported by the councilwoman in the 6th Ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Dr. Lewis.
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter.
Yes.
Ms. Burns.
Yes.
Ms. Mashat.
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer.
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett.
Yes.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no. The time is now 6:41 p.m. on Monday, June 9th. The City Special Affairs Committee is adjourned.
Okay, this is to the public. If you wish to speak at the city council meeting and you have not already filled out a speaker slip, the time to do so is now.
Nothing, I don't think. So, I don't remember. Yeah, yeah.
This meeting. Yeah, it was just from this meeting that we just had. Yeah, so this meeting should be.
I did. Right, we didn't. Drink water.
All right, Madam Clerk. Pastor Harris, are you staying for this meeting? Okay, would you mind offering the blessing? Okay, thank you. All right, Madam Clerk, are you ready?
If I could have council members take their seats so we can start this city council meeting. It is 6:49 p.m. and I am calling this city council meeting to order for the purpose of electing a city council president in accordance with section 3-201B of the Flint City Charter. But first I'm going to take the roll call. Okay, Mr. Alamin is not in. Dr. Lewis?
Present.
Ms. Priestley is not in. Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Present.
Ms. Burns?
Present.
Ms. Mashat?
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett?
Present.
You have 5 members present.
We have 5 members present. Madam Clerk,
Ms. Mashat?
I'd like to make a motion that we move the organization of the city council to the end of the meeting so that we can conduct the city business.
Okay, Ms. Mashat has made a motion to move the organization of the city council to the end of the agenda and move on with the rest of the city business. Is there support for her motion?
Support.
Okay, Dr. Lewis has supported the motion, and this is the roll call on that motion. Mr. Alamin is not in. Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley is not in. Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer? Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no. We will now move on to the opening ceremonies.
So now it's time for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Councilwoman Shaq, could you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So before we move on to the prayer of the blessing, we would like to acknowledge anyone that may have transitioned. Do we have anyone that would like to acknowledge someone?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Ms. Burns.
I would like to acknowledge a little girl who is 7, Amila Bedford. Her mother informed me that her daughter lost her fight, and she was there for her last moments. Her mother is Eileen Trimble, I believe your neighbor. Her daughter, 7-year-old daughter, she lost her fight with her rare blood disease.
Anyone else? Anyone else? All right, well, seeing that there's no one else, I would like to remember Miss Carol Joy Andrews. That is Miss Carol Joy Andrews, as well as Miss Yvonne Nicole Cheney. Miss Yvonne Nicole Cheney, who lost her battle to breast cancer. So with that being said, we would like to ask if Pastor Harris from Saints of God Church will join us at the lectern, and if he will deliver the prayer of the blessing.
Let us send ourselves for a word of prayer. Gracious God, we thank you for this day and for your many blessings. We thank you for this opportunity to come together in regards to the city in which we live. We pray that you would unite us for the greater good. You heard the 2 scenarios that were mentioned. You know all things. You're infinite in wisdom and knowledge. And we pray that you would comfort and that you would heal. And we thank you for all things. This is our prayer in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Everybody said, amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Pastor Harris. So now we have the reading of the Disorderly Person City Code subsection, and it goes as follows. Any person that persists in disrupting this meeting will be in violation of the Flint City Code Section 3110, disorderly conduct, assault and battery, and disorderly persons, and will be subject to arrest for a misdemeanor. Any person who prevents the peaceful and orderly conduct of any meeting will be given 1 warning. If they persist in disrupting the meeting, that individual will be subject to arrest. Violators will be removed from the meetings. So now it's time for the request for agenda changes or additions. Do we have any agenda changes? All right, seeing none, we will go ahead and move forward with public comment. So first speaker, Madam Clerk.
First speaker is R.L. Mitchell.
Hello, my name is R.L. Mitchell. Almost said I'm here by the doctor's suggestion. Well, I've been homeless for 38 years walking through the streets, and I ran into a doctor. He tried to check me out, see if I had any alcohol in my body, and he found out, he put a needle, I had somebody hold me and he found out I ain't had no alcohol in my body, and he told me, I don't see nothing wrong with you, sir. He gave me a sheet of paper. I guess you go to one of these meeting close to your house, and it was Shiloh Baptist Church, Reverend May's daddy. But them peoples I saw in there, anyway, it's supposed to be an anonymity place. I better stop talking about them because they'll come in here and be worse than the Popo, what they did to the public last Monday. Okay? Like I say, for now, back to Madam Chair, to Miss Priestley. You see her chair's empty, but see what I mean? She woman with the money bag. Queen of Sheba come in here and said, you reducing these kids, they grown 23 years old, and they come back to the Job Corps, reducing them back to childhood. I want you to know, had a letter I was told to sign up for my Social Security. You've been way overdue, sir. Then the person said, what you want, a phone call or come in? I said, a phone call. But I got about 8 phones. I broke every last one accidentally. They talk about the lady when I was talking said, you better hook it in the wall, sir, because you're running out of I hooked it in the wall, took it out, and all of them started smoking. I got Like in commercial, they throw the phone. I see why they throw them on the ground. I just left them on my dining room table. They up there right now. But they say, we got an appointment on the 18th of June. That's when school's out. And I gave them a phone number. It's 67 years old. I mean, a bicentennial phone. The one my daddy moved over on Tacoma Street, right down the street. It's still in the house, right? It's still working. It's yellow in the kitchen. That phone. So I gotta be over there at 9:30 on the nose, and they say, if you don't be there, you ain't getting nothing. They talk to me like that. I don't know what, that's just like, he said, no phones in here, no lighters, and no Boy Scout, no knives. Just like a dude in the airport, what got that seat, the woman always gaslighting people. A school teacher. You see what, and Mays had it. They put my daddy house on the market, but Mays got it right back. And it's still, but that's why I'll get almost excited by June 18th because they might throw a monkey wrench in there and try to keep me from getting my Social Security money, but I mean, okay, like I said.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Vivian Williams. Vivian Williams, I think she's left. The next speaker is Pastor Alfred Harris.
I want to say good evening to everyone. I'm Pastor Alfred Harris. I'm the pastor of the Saints of God Church in 2nd Ward, and I'm also president of the Concerned Pastors for Social Action. And I'm happy to be here tonight to talk with you. First of all, let me say I appreciate the very tough job that you do. I know you've got 9 people up there, and all of you have different minds, and sometimes the interactions get difficult. But I want to thank you for staying on track. And I also want to say that it's so important that you're able to work together for the greater good. And sometimes that might mean making a concession. Someone may have to say, you know, I said this and I was wrong. I did this and I was wrong. Will you forgive me and move forward? Amen? I want to say, please, thank you very much. When I heard that unanimous vote to address the budget before the 30th or on the 30th, I was so happy I was clapping my hands. The only thing that I want to ask you to do is please, when you put that budget through, make sure the citizens of Flint are not injured. We've been injured enough since 2014, the water crisis. Concerned pastors were the first ones who went down to Lansing and brought in the first dollars, and still we haven't been made whole. So let's everybody in this room pledge that we want to be made not 95% whole, not 96, not 97, 100% whole. Also, I was concerned, I was out of town on the 1st when the protests took place, and I wasn't happy with the results. And so if there's anything that you all can do to investigate what took place, I know everybody ought to follow the law. We have laws in place to protect citizens, but when police are present, I don't want to feel intimidated. I want to feel secure. So there may be an investigation that needs to be done on that. Finally, I want to say we are all on the same team. TEAM. Together, everyone achieves more. Together, everyone achieves more. Thank you very much for these few minutes that I've had to talk to you. And we are concerned, the pastors want the citizens to be safe, and they also want the council persons to be safe. And we ought to be able to express ourselves without hating one another or killing one another. Thank you.
Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Rich Jones. Rich Jones, not in. Next speaker is Audrey Muhammad.
She's gone.
Annette, she's not here.
Next speaker is Tanya Jones.
Good evening. This was not my plan, but I came back again. I'm here to address, I guess Liddell said, go to the commissioner or somewhere or whatever. I'm lost on this, I'll tell you the truth. But my main concern is opium. The opium crisis. So long as you moving money to different programs or whatever, the opium is important. Meth, the opium crisis is very, very, very important. So I hope you hear my voice tonight, because I'm not going anywhere. You said go to the commissioner, I'm an outsider or whatever. No, I'm a part of Flint. My husband owns houses in Flint. So guess what? I am a part of your ward. So I will not be going nowhere no time soon. So my thing is, would you please keep opium crisis, address it, and do not move the money for it, because this is a dilemma in my life and everybody else's life. Look at Keep a Community Informed. Okay, people overdose every day. They're not putting on the news that it's a crisis. I don't know what to do. Could you help me, President? Because I need some help. I need some answers. Could you look at me? No, you're not gonna look at me. Ms. Burns, thank you for looking at me. Mr. Everybody else looking at me. But thank you for Liddell not looking at me. But please don't give it to a MAID program again, because guess what? The opium crisis, going to East Side where Judy Ward is, guess what? They walk around there like zombies, and they need some help. I don't know what to do, so I'm here. I'm lost, okay? So maybe if I get some direction, maybe you can help me. You know what I'm saying? You talking about summer programs? After the summer programs is gone, guess what? People still gonna be addicted to this meth. Okay, it's a crisis out here. So maybe I seem delusional, I'm mama bear, but I'm not going nowhere. I don't know how to go nowhere. I don't have, really, if you look at me, I don't have nothing to lose. I could be somewhere having some tequila, okay? Really, I really could. But I'm sitting here addressing this. So I'm not going nowhere, Liddell. I'm not. Okay, I'm not going nowhere. So thank you that I'm the crazy lady in the moo-moo. Okay, I'm not going nowhere. So thank you, and have a good night.
And next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is A. Pollard. A. Pollard.
I want to say this to Candace. Number one, let me get you correct. I was raised and born in Flint, Michigan. I don't know where you come from, but see, my grandmama was coming up in here when I was a little girl. She brought me, and when she died, I made her a promise that I would continue to come to the council meeting, and I've been keeping my word. You always got some negativity to say about people. You can't even accept criticism from nobody. But you'll give it out, but you can't even accept it. So stop acting like you better than us. Just because you got a title being a council person don't mean shit to me at all. A title don't mean nothing when you ain't doing a damn job. So when you do the job, then you can speak about a title. Until then, a title don't mean nothing. And you always trying to down black people more than you do the other race. And you black yourself. So won't you check yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, who do you love? Because you don't love yourself. And you say you love the people here? Y'all don't love them because y'all too busy throwing money where it shouldn't be. Help the people here who have the issue in Flint, Michigan, and Genesee County SRO. Fix the roofs, fix their basement, fix the water. And what y'all all need to do with all these companies that coming in, got the money from 22, 23, 24, y'all need to all have them come in and show y'all proof and evidence that they've been doing what they said they came to get the money for. Because have nobody came in here and gave y'all nothing. Y'all have these genders already ready. Davina or whoever do these gender for the council people, y'all already know what y'all supposed to bring in here. So when the council people have to ask you people who asking for help or asking for money from the city of Flint, why come y'all don't have y'all I's dotted and your T's crossed in no paperwork to show what y'all talking about? Your word don't mean nothing. Because all y'all been doing, just like that lady Mona who came and did the lead. I had lead in me. My kids did too. My thing is, she got all that money and that woman ain't been back here yet. So at the end of the day, y'all got to quit allowing these people to come get money and not showing y'all proof. Y'all ask them every year, every month, every week, time and time, and they keep giving y'all all these excuses. Don't pass nothing until everybody bring the documentation that y'all looking for and walk y'all through the places that they say they have here in Flint for the people. And I meant what I said from the bottom of my heart, because I'm covered in the blood of Jesus. I don't care about how you feel about me, what you say about me, because I never gave a damn. Ask my people. Ask my people. Ask Jerry Winfrey about me. I don't give a damn how you feel about me, because I'm not here for you to love me. I got two people who love me, and that's God, it's the Father, and Jesus is the Son.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is Mari Copany.
Okay. Accountability. That is something that some of you on this council lack. Last week, we seen your shenanigans continue, including arresting a resident for a tripod that wasn't even a tripod. You cut off RL for speaking for saying a word that's in the Bible. You targeted Mr. Clack for an outburst that wasn't even him. And when the person identified themselves, you clowns voted to uphold the warning against him. And when Councilman Jarrett called you out on it, you called him a clout chaser, which was funny coming from someone who lies on Facebook for likes. And not to mention y'all refusing to make eye contact, rolling your eyes and still whispering to each other like middle school girls. Liddell and Candace, I seen you guys participate in a peaceful protest over the weekend. Crazy to see you were able to march in the streets, not on the sidewalk, but in the streets and obstruct the flow of traffic, and not a single person was arrested and assaulted by the police, and there wasn't 24 cop cars following you. That is how every protest should go, and now we know that you know how protests are supposed to work. In the past week, we've seen so many shootings involving youth, including a triple shooting where a teenager passed away. Today, right in front of my home, in the middle of the afternoon, with kids outside, there was a shooting. The police once again took an hour to pull up. Police are overworked, underpaid, and understaffed, yet this administration loves to use them against the people. You want youth in the community to stop acting a fool, but can't even behave yourselves and bully residents through a single council meeting. You want the youth in the community to stop acting a fool? Give us more than just summer jobs. We need programs that include mentorship, resources, and people with boots on ground tackling conflicts as soon as they happen instead of police responding after the fact. The disrespect to the citizens from council members needs to stop. You don't have to agree with us, but as citizens of this community, we deserve to have our voices heard and concerns addressed by those elected to represent us.
Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is James Moore.
James Moore, Second Ward. I'd first like to say thank you to the Michigan Eastern Eye Clinic for the work that they do in our community, for the work that they have done throughout my family, and for the work that they've been doing to help me be able to see so much that is still going on. I want to take the time out to talk about two young men over in the Second Ward that I see pushing a red lawnmower with a black motor on it. Brothers, keep on out there. It's like advertisement. Somebody gonna give y'all a break and give y'all some money for cutting their yards, because most people are paying just about $70 to cut their yard, and it rains, and the next day the grass is back. So just hang in there and keep on. That's y'all commercial break. And then I want to be able to say on behalf of Beverly Biggs, she's doing it the old-fashioned way. She's going house to house, knocking on people's doors, letting her know that she is running for the 3rd Ward. She's letting people know that she will be someone that they can call to get things done. And even though she does it in her car and she does it on a walker, but she is still going door to door. And that's the old-fashioned way in politics. I believe that's someone that's going to keep their promise. And for what happened, from what I seen at the last meeting, well, the meeting before that, before y'all moved the chairs, you know, this is not Selma, Alabama. This is not Philadelphia, Mississippi. This ain't no Little Rock. Y'all need to stop turning the police against the people. It says serve and protect. What y'all are doing and pointing out and changing chairs and schedules and times, y'all taking a note out of history. This is Flint, Michigan. We're better than that. We keep things moving. That's why they call us the vehicle city. Start paying attention to the people in the city.
Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Shalita Savage.
Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is LaShawn Johnson.
Good evening, Council. My name is LaShawn Johnson, and I'm running in as a write-in candidate for the 3rd Ward City Council seat. I am not a politician. I'm a public servant. I am a bus driver, a mother, a neighbor, and someone who believes deeply in what Flint can become when leadership is rooted and serves and not statue. I spent my whole life in Flint surrounded by working families. Many of them was General Motors retirees and essential workers who knows what it means to show up and take care of their community. Now, I was raised, and that's how I lead. When I was appointed by the mayor to serve as a community ambassador for the 3rd Ward, I took that responsibility seriously. I didn't see it as a title. I saw it as an opportunity. I showed up to clean up blight, advocated for seniors, knocked doors, listened to concerns, and most importantly, I stayed present. I know there are several names on the ballot this election, and many of them are familiar. But what we need now is someone who doesn't just speak for the community, but walk with it. My focus isn't on political alliances or long meetings with no concerns. My focus is on people. On progression, you can see, hear and feel right, here is the 3rd Ward. We need more of that at the City Hall. Less arguing, more action, less ego, more empathy. We need leaders who stay grounded, connected, not just campaigning, but all year long. If you see me at the bus yard, on a cleanup crew, or walking these blocks, then you already know how I serve. Now I'm asking you to help me serve a bigger way. I also invite everyone to come out on Tuesday, June the 10th, 7 to 9, at Money Sobachi on Clio Road for my campaign kickoff.
Thank you. Thank you.
Write
Next
LaShawn
speaker.
Johnson in for 3rd Ward.
Next speaker, please.
The next speaker is Winters Hall.
How y'all doing this evening? My name is Winters Hall, and I am a resident of the 2nd or the 6th Ward. I'm not really for sure. I do want to piggyback on something that Baby Doll said. The 501c3s, remember they taught us the 5 W's in school, like the who, when, what, where, and why? So I would expect somebody from council to really go back over and look at those 501c3s that received our ARPA money, call them back, get a list generator or something. We paid Ernst & Young, all of that money to come in. We had committees flying everywhere. It's getting stipends from the Mott Foundation. They should be able to tell us who got the money, when they got it, what they used it for, where it went to, and why. Remember those? We learned those in elementary school. Now, I want to put this on the record from earlier because maybe this is a new rule that I'm just not familiar with. I know Candace was the only one here, and she came in for our special affairs meeting, and she called the meeting to order. Wasn't nobody here to take, well, they took attendance, but wasn't nobody here. So I just want to know, was y'all marked absent or tardy? I mean, that's just something else that we learned in school too. I just wanted to know. I just want to know. So we need to put that on the record because it seems like week after week they're coming up with new rules and we don't know what the hell, where they at and where they're coming from. I'm glad the fire chief is still here. We talked about a video this morning that happened on Prospect Street. It was a fire on Prospect Street. I do believe it was in Councilwoman Burns' ward yesterday. A lady was live. I don't know how long the house was burning, but it took 15 minutes from her live until the first fire truck showed up. I don't know where they're coming from, but why is it taking so long for police and fire response? That is something that we need to concentrate on. And I'm so glad to hear y'all are passionate about the homeless people, because which way do y'all come to work? Do y'all pass all these homeless people up here at 5th Avenue? Because let's give some money to them too, since you know the other people got federal dollars. Let's try to help our own. Also, this is the first time I've ever seen a city's HR director send out a memo to city employees saying that the council is screwed up and we're gonna help y'all with unemployment. I've never seen that before. Usually something like that would come down from the mayor or maybe the department head, but maybe that's how y'all do it here in this building. But you guys are elected officials, and I do wanna say, you may be somebody's mother, but y'all not our mamas. So when y'all look up at us cause we talking too loud, y'all not our mamas. They must be called out. Pastor Harris, it took you too damn long to get here. It took you too long to get here. And I know some of the pastors may be compromised from the water settlement money, but I'm glad you showed up today.
All right, thank you, Ms. Hall. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Belinda P. Can't read the last name. Belinda P.
No, doesn't look like she's here. So next speaker.
The next speaker is Joshua Bogus.
Well, first off, I see these seats haven't been put back and nobody has learned how disrespectful it is to silence 80 Americans' rights. I think a couple of you think you're special. You had your little special meeting here and got nothing accomplished, and there's a couple more people not out of these seats, but it seems there's a problem with every little council seat like yours in Genesee County, whether it's in Mount Morris Township or Mundy Township or where it is. Every place in Genesee County has this same pile of crap. Any rate, our peoples over in Mundy Township work on exposing this up-and-coming water crisis from this mega site here with China that I'm hearing words of 55 million gallons of water getting dumped into our fresh water systems. Our precious governor's already made sure there's no environmental impact studies. This is pathetic. And here you guys are doing this. I'd like to think, you're right, this is a team. As a team, it's about time a couple of you people up there start body checking some of your teammates as smearing your face into the mud with you. Liddell, Candace, Priestley, yeah, you all got names. Or you can get out of the office if you don't like it. We're just tired of being silenced. Why are you pushing off this budget? I would like you to finish this budget, not by giving away all Flint's money and setting us back $4 million. We have other people to go talk to. You know, there's commissioner's offices and other places around here that's accountable for some of this mess. But right now, we're all going to be standing right here until we straighten out this mess at hand. So we'd appreciate if you all could be professional and get moving here. You know, I've heard lots of good ways to cut this budget. I've mentioned several judges around here that I can't help you guys help set the budgets for that act way not in accordance with United States law. Start cutting jobs. Ombudsman that we haven't had for 4 years. This guy's out here fighting for a whole nother pay wage of jobs and services that the citizens of Flint don't get for 4, 5, 6 years. Holy crap, he just admitted to, how many years is that? Can you count? Wow, that's 2 jobs at least that we can just see from here, right here from this bench. I haven't seen one. I haven't seen a police chief. I haven't seen Mary Neely. I have seen nobody actually do nothing to Officer Stillwell or none of this other shit. I've seen Miss Burns and Pfeiffer here. Thank you for your press release. We almost crashed it, but, you know, God told me not to come in here and mess you up. I heard you call out the mayor. Where are you at, Mr. Neely? Where are you at? I can't even call him a chief of police, you pathetic Nazi driving whatever you are. Reprimand your people. This training, I do support your police training, but the police training they have been getting is a failure. It's time to get new police training from a new source, including the United States Constitution. Facts. And it needs to be approved by the people. And this same training needs to be available to X amount of citizens so people know exactly what the hell you're training these pig fucking things you call police around here.
Next speaker, Madam Clerk. So I just wanted to let the audience know that no vulgar language, so let's not. Okay, well, there we go with middle fingers in the crowd. So just want to make sure that we're clear. That's your warning. That's your second warning. Would you please remove him? Again, according to the Disorderly Person City Code subsection, it says, once you have received a warning, any person that persists in disrupting this meeting will be in violation of Flint City Code Section 3110, disorderly conduct, assault and battery, and disorderly persons, and will be subject to arrest for a misdemeanor. Any person who prevents the peaceful and orderly conduct of any meeting will be given one warning. If they persist in disrupting the meeting, that individual will be subject to arrest. Violators will be removed from the meeting. This city code subsection was read before the meeting. He had an opportunity to be warned. He proceeded, so he's now removed from this meeting. So now we will move on to the next speaker. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is, I cannot read this writing, Elzina Smith.
I don't think they're here, so we're going to move on with the next speaker.
The next speaker is Xavier Smith.
Say Xavier Smith?
Yes.
All right, Xavier's not here. We can move on to the next speaker, please.
Next speaker is Janae Savage.
You said Savage?
Yes.
Yep,
Janae.
she's not here as well.
Next speaker is Chester Coburn.
My name is Chester Coburn. You know, I got a lot of respect for my peoples. I got a lot of love for my peoples. But Adele, when I asked you when I come in the building, what was the right people, what the paper was right at, you looked at me and kept on walking. But you want, excuse me, peoples, you want us to respect you as a councilwoman, but you gotta learn how to respect the people that ask you questions and you're still walking by them like you don't hear them or don't see them. I don't have no problem with that because I can lead you the same way, but I'm a man of God and I understand how to respect my people and love my people. Just like last week, all this chaos went on. Y'all allow the mayor to let the peoples have just to say what they want to say. That's disrespect to people and disrespecting y'all, and y'all went along with it. Y'all could have stopped it, but you didn't. And then when it got out of context, the young lady said words that she said to the young lady. She said she was threatened by her life because of what she said. Then y'all gonna say on the phone, y'all got 50 people up here with guns on her, y'all need help. But you got 2 officers in the building, got it under control. Because I talked to one of the officers, I said, excuse me for a second, let me talk to the young man and young lady if I can get them to move out the building. Next thing I know, they get ready to go out, and here come the place running with a bunch of police, creating a nonsense with not doing their job respectable. When you come in a place of business with people, public peoples and the people, you got to come here and know what the tension was here. But they came in on the false pretense they got with 50 people in here with guns. With the attitude they had coming towards us people, that's way out of order. But when you're going to work for, we pay you guys don't pay us. But y'all want to come and disrespect what's going on in the city? Then y'all want to make grants and all these different students? You know, I hear everything. I see a lot of things. I've been around here all my life. Some of you kids could be my children's. But all I ask you, when you come and sit behind that podium, you pay to do a job. Do your job. There's no buddy in the system. These people out here struggling about the water crisis and everything else, and y'all want to do certain things. Like you're trying to get an education fund for the police. Each one of y'all need to take that class and understand what it means, how to respect your own self and respect your peoples out here. It's no necessary for the chaos that went on last week, should have never come occur. You got 2 officers in there, had it under control. But when they get the elevation of running and people, what do you think people gonna respond? I tell the officer, you don't talk to me any kind of way. I'm a man just like you are. And I respect for my respect, I'm gonna get my respect just like y'all want y'all respect. And anytime y'all allow the mayor to say y'all can let people come up here and do what they do, you out of order. Like the money you guys, the Job Corps need, that's a federal fund place. If their staff was on duty, for them, they shut them down. The house of people, they got all the way around. They could have sent them all the way around.
All right, thank you, sir. Next
Learn
speaker,
how to have
please.
love and respect for them.
Next speaker is Beverly Biggs Levy.
Good evening. My name is Beverly Biggs Levy. I am running for the 3rd Ward City Council seat. And we need to do better. If you ever notice, when we come up to speak, the president and the vice president always got their head down like they do, so busy. But I'm like Chester. If you want respect, you gotta give respect, and you don't. And I don't need a piece of paper to write down, to take notes, to say what I mean. I can say it just like I feel it. I am running for the 3rd Ward. I know what I do. I know what I don't do. But before I be a yes girl, I'll step down. And I ain't planning on stepping down. I will never be a yes girl. I know that I have to work with the mayor. I know that I have to work with you guys. But if you ever think that I'll be a yes girl, I'm not that type of person. I can't be. In order for you to be who you are, you gotta be who you are. And like I say, I ain't gotta make a speech. My work speaks for itself. And that's what matters. I'm here for the people, what they want, not what I gotta make a cleanup crew. I'm not making a cleanup crew. I know how to do the cleanup. You start right here. If you get this cleaned up, everything else will fall in place. And like I say, I know the word of God. You don't have me, I don't have the fear of what's gonna happen to me. You done shot up my car. I done had 5 flat tires in 3 months. I know what time it is. You done pulled my husband out of a car. I know what time it is. It's time for you guys to wake up and get it right, because you know you're not right. You 4 know that you're not right. And when we get to do this audit, because it's gonna be an audit, it's time for to do an audit. A lot of money is coming up missing, and nobody know where it's coming from, where it's at. Like us, you gotta bring them 501c3s, need to be counted for. Where that money at? We need to know where the money at. That's why you can't hold your heads up, because you know where it's at. But it's gotta come back. Y'all have a blessed day.
Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
The final speaker for this meeting is Allison Montgomery Littlejohn.
Good evening, City Council and community. I am here to address Resolution 250182T, Grant Acceptance, Continuing Professional Education, State of Michigan Commission, Law Enforcement Standards. I have questions about the Flint Police Department as a whole. Number one, how do you train police officers to perform their duties in an ethical manner when they follow the commands of an unethical leader? This is a contradiction in my opinion. I would like for an investigation to take place of the police brutality incident that happened to Mr. Terrence, Miss Beverly Biggs Levy's husband, where he was violently pulled out of his vehicle by an officer during the peaceful march on Sunday, June 1st, 2025 in downtown Flint. In addition to this, I would like an investigation of the police brutality incidents that occurred to, one of them being Flint resident, Miss Debbie Clark, and there were others, during the council meeting on Monday, June 2nd, 2025. Miss Debbie Clark was violently punched in the chest by a Flint police officer while trying to mediate a situation in the council chambers. Number three, lastly, what are the specifics of the training that the police will receive? Is it for operations, which includes report writing and emergency response? Defensive tactics, including de-escalation strategies, or communication and interviewing techniques with the public? All three, which we saw was a failure at the council meeting on June 2nd. The amount of trauma that some police officers, with the assistance of some government officials, that has occurred in the last week is disheartening and alarming. What is even more alarming is the so-called rumor that Councilwoman Candace Mouchette made a misleading 911 call during that council meeting, which escalated and agitated the response of the police. I'm really pushing for this council to do a subpoena of Chief Green, even the mayor. I know there's a question about having 5 votes, but so what? If Mr. Mays was here, he would put a motion on the floor. A motion is always in order. Put the motion on the floor to subpoena Chief Green, Mayor Neely, and any other that was involved in the June 1st and June 2nd incidents. Thank you.
All right, Madam Clerk, so just for confirmation, is that the last public speaker?
That's correct.
All right, thank you. So now public speaking is now closed, and now it's time for a council response. Anyone would like to respond to the public?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Ms. Mashat.
Thank you. Ms. Littlejohn, I just want you to clear up some misinformation. I'm going to do it for you. At no point in time did I call the police. At no point in time did I call the police. At no point in time did my number dial a police officer's number. I was sitting here the entire time.
Excuse me. Ma'am, that's your warning, your first warning, please. You're out of order. Ma'am, that's your second order. You're removed from this meeting.
This is just crazy.
Excuse me, according to our reading of the disorderly person city code subsection, it states that any person that persists in disrupting this meeting, and any resident that interfere with the police work, they may be arrested for interference. And so, according to this, it states that any person that persists in disrupting this meeting will be in violation of the Flint City Code Section 3110, disorderly conduct, assault and battery, and disorderly persons, and will be subject for arrest for a misdemeanor. Any person who prevents the peaceful and orderly conduct of any meeting will be given one warning. If they persist in disrupting this meeting, that individual will be subject to arrest. Violators will be removed from the meeting. So the public had their opportunity to speak at the lectern. Now we're in council response, and it's time to be heard from the body. So we're going to go ahead and give the floor back to Ms. Mashat. And could you please give her 7 additional seconds? That'll be 150 though. That'll be 150. All righty. So we will go ahead and proceed with your time, Ms. Mashat.
Right,
Thank
as
you.
I was saying before I was interrupted by the person that spread misinformation and told a blatant lie, go back and watch the video. I was seated in my seat the entire time everything was happening, and additional officers came. I was still seated in my seat. I know it feels good to tell lies, and it makes you feel better and popular to say my name in a negative way, but what we will not do is sit up here and make it seem like I called police, needed to call police, or added police to this meeting when I did not. I was sitting in my seat. You can go back and watch the video. The record will reflect that I was sitting in my seat. So again, the person that just came up here speaking, I believe her name is Ms. Littlejohn, is spreading misinformation. That is a flat out lie. That did not happen. Go back and watch the video. I believe little Miss Flint is yelling as I'm trying to speak.
Please hold the time. Again, when you are disrupting the meeting from the outside or the inside, the disorderly city person subsection, it handles that. And it states that if violators, if they persist in disrupting the meeting, that individual will be subject to arrest. And so we can't hear. And so we're asking for our officers to please make sure that we are removing the individuals from the building. And okay, so we don't need little Miss Flint swearing. That is her warning. This is what we deal with, Pastor Harris. This is it. Okay, so but before you go, I just want to make sure that we have an understanding what the disorderly person city code subsection states. And I've read it, but people are not listening, Ms. Burns. I hear what you say, but I want to make sure that we're abundantly clear. Any person who prevents the peaceful and orderly conduct of any meeting will be given one warning. If they persist in disrupting the meeting, that individual will be subject to arrest. Violators will be removed from the meeting. That's important to note because when the police, when they are enacted so we can have an orderly meeting, that is the reason why. No one is weaponizing the police. They are disorderly, and we're calling for order so we can move on with the city's business. So, Ms. Machette, I'm going to give you the floor again for the third time, and hopefully you can get out what you have to say. Thank you. Proceed.
Absolutely, because we know that lies tend to live around here. So I wanted to correct that. I believe there was another lie just yelled out about me being online spreading misinformation. You find me one post, one interaction, one thing I've said where I've gone back and forth with anybody online, responded to anything said to me online. Any and everything that I have to say, I say right here so that you can see and hear me. I don't need to be online. I don't need to do internet. I live in real life. So, again, the whole people online spreading misinformation, arguing, going back and forth, you will not find me in that. So stop trying to tarnish my name and say I'm going back and forth with people online, because that never happened. It does not happen. It will not happen. The whole, I called the police, go back and watch the video. We don't need to spread blatant lies about things that we can watch in real time. I never once left my seat. The police came here. The police tried to remove the person, then the extra officers came, and I was still sitting in my exact seat. So please stop spreading misinformation. I don't argue online. Please stop spreading misinformation.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to speak? Go ahead, Ms. Burns.
Well, people do lie in these chambers. The president did when she stated that Mayor Karen Weaver had never been to budget hearings. And I posted the picture in case the words may be a little too much for you, because she has. And for the police, we're not holding this up in the letter that was written. We have, and if you go back to budget hearings, I acknowledge you were underpaid, the least paid in the county, that your conditions, such as your locker rooms, different issues needed to be improved. Those are issues with Chief Green that need to be addressed, first of all. That's who that has to go through. And when we look at some of the things that people have been removed for, and the president of this interim president will state it's the public safety plan. We don't have one. It's not enforceable. It's a lie. She does weaponize the police against the residents. It's not even something that it exists, but it is not a law. It is not a law. And so when she's pleased as pie, when a lot of the officers are able to talk to the residents because they know him, this tactical thing here tonight is disappointing. Because as soon as people say, that's your warning, okay, that's your second warning, it's abusing her position and her authority. And she consistently does it. And she's happy about it. She's thrilled. And so it is unfortunate that she has because she had walked around this entire chamber calling Chief Green, calling the mayor, because so many times the officers have said, well, they're not doing anything. You can't clap, cough, you can't move your hands like this, you can't hold up a sign, because she's a totalitarian dictator, period. That's what she is. We're not holding up your pay.
And
Tell
thank you,
them to
Ms.
get the
Burns.
answers
That's your
to
time.
the budget,
Ms.
and then
Ms.
we can
Burns,
pass
that
it.
you're being brought to order. Let's go ahead and go with the next council member for council comment. No one else for council comment? All right, well, I'll go ahead and take my time to indeed intervene with the misinformation. One thing that's not misinformation is the reading and the enforcement of these rules. We are beholden to ensure safety in these chambers. And so, unfortunately, everyone do not feel the same way, but what I will make sure that we are enforcing a safe meeting for all. And so if we have residents that are compromising that safety, they will be brought to order, and they are not brought to order, they will be asked to leave. Every one of these seats, they have the ability to bring people to order. However, we have individuals selectively bringing people to order. We will bring people to order. And so just like we heard the councilman of the 6th Ward make the comment about the budget hearing, the fact of the matter is we don't bring mayors in here for our working sessions. These are our working sessions. It is up to us to do the work. And so, again, Ms. Burns, let's stop. Please. I'm talking to you. Please pause my time, please. Pause my time.
Point of order. Stop. For what are you? I'm not even talking to you.
Ms. Burns, you are yelling out. I hear you talk. I hear you talking. I hear you. I hear you calling me a liar. And again, Ms. Burns, you do not have the floor.
This is why we have an issue. We don't need, everyone have their term to speak during council response. You had your time, let others speak. Afford people the courtesy. Would you please start my time again, Madam Clerk? And so going to the gentleman who made the comment that I walked by him and didn't speak, I did not hear him. I speak to all that speak to me, and also those that do not speak to me. So just want to indeed clear up the misinformation. And who called the police? Probably the police who were being surrounded by residents in a threatening way. Maybe they reached out to the police. Again, this will be a safe space for all, police included. And for the record, we totally stand with our law enforcement officials as they work to keep our city as well as our chambers safe for all. So I want that to be made abundantly clear from where we sit. And so from these seats, you all see what happened when rules are not enforced. That will never, ever, ever, ever happen again under my watch. Thank you. So now we will move on to the next item on the agenda. And we're looking at the consent agenda. What is the pleasure of the body?
Make a motion to pass the consent agenda.
Say it one more time.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
All right, there's a motion to approve the consent agenda. Any support? Okay, I'll go ahead and support that. Any separations? All right, seeing none.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
250174.
250174. Okay. All right, that has been separated. And is that all? Okay, so please note that the agenda will be accepted with the presentation of meeting minutes with any changes. And so, Madam Clerk, if you could just verify which resolutions are going to be included with the master resolution.
The consent agenda will also include Resolution 250186, the adjournment of the Flint City Council meetings for July. 250187, the charitable gaming license for 100K Ideas. 250175, the reallocation of ARPA funds for the private tree removal program. And that is it for the consent agenda.
All right, so that's a total of 3 resolutions. All right, so we will go ahead and we will move forward with voting for the consent agenda. So roll call, Madam Clerk.
Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley is not in. Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin is not in. The vote is 6 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no. The consent agenda passes. So now we are at resolution 250174. What's the pleasure of the body?
Make a motion to approve.
All right, motion to approve. Any support? That will be supported by me. Any discussion? Any discussion in the first round? Any discussion in the second round? Okay, well, we are about to vote on resolution 250174, the recognition for June 2025 Pride Month. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Priestley is not in. Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
No.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin is not in. Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
The vote is 5 yes, 1 no.
The vote is 5 yes and 1 no, so that resolution passes. And so now we are at the consideration of applicants for the 3rd Ward Council member. So, what is the pleasure of the body?
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
All right, the motion to adjourn supported by the Councilman of the 7th Ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin is absent. Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley is absent. The vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no. The time is now 7:52, and this Flint City Council meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.